Chapter 26. Everyone was stunned by the Vegeto in front of them. Piccolo looked serious, so strong. Vegeto raised his lips slightly and looked at AIXI slowly. Will it disintegrate in an hour? AIXI nodded, yet. Vegeto nodded and smiled, then we have 59 minutes to compete. As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. Vegeto looked at Big Bu, because, it only takes 1 minute to kill you. Big Bu looked unhappy, how arrogant. I hope you can still say this later. Vegeto smiled, then raised his hand and punched out. Call out. In an instant, an extremely powerful and domineering fist wind swept towards Big Bu. With a whoosh sound, the fist smashed Big Bu's face into pieces. Big Bu was stunned, but quickly used his supercell regeneration ability to repair himself. His eyes narrowed slightly. You kid have some skills. Vegeto said calmly, stop talking nonsense, I'm not here to listen to your show-off, take it. Big Bu. Big Bu looked ugly, so arrogant. Vegeto said no more, clenched his fists suddenly, and his eyes suddenly focused. His expression became unusually serious. AIXI smiled. Fighting for oneself, it seems. Vegeto is serious now. Vegeto didn't say a word, a jet of white flame formed at his feet and then rose up. Call out. Vegeto stomped his right foot hard. Boom. The earth cracked instantly and turned into countless branches. Vegeto catapulted out at such a speed that everyone present was dumbfounded. Bang! Before Big Bu could react, Vegeto's fist was packed with great force and punched out fiercely, hitting Big Bu's right cheek directly. Boom! There was a sonic boom in just a split second. Big Bu's head was smashed to pieces by Vegeto's punch. Below. Number 21 narrowed his eyes slightly. This guy's strength is no weaker than his. Piccolo and Krillin looked shocked and excited. Vegeto's strength, for them. That's a good thing. AIXI's expression remained unchanged. This Vegeto was indeed very strong, his normal combat power was at least several trillion. Back to Vegeto. After Big Bu's head was blown up by a punch, he quickly used his supercell regeneration ability to recover. His eyes were filled with fear. What kind of monster are you, man? Vegeto was puzzled. Monster. Compared to me, you look more like a monster, right? After all, I don't look like you. Kill people and destroy their hearts. Big Bu was furious, his face was ugly. How dare you insult me? Vegeto smiled and said, what's wrong? As he spoke, he slowly raised his right hand and waved. If you don't agree, hit me. Big Bu couldn't bear it anymore. He clenched his fists violently, veins bulging. Hateful. Big Bu stretched out his hands, and his arms suddenly turned into a pool of mud and melted down. Immediately following. Under the instructions of Big Bu, a group of meatballs rushed towards Vegeto. Swoosh. Swoosh. A moment. Those meatballs stuck to Big Bu like slime. But the next moment. Hey. Vegeto let out a low cry. The flesh ball stuck to his body was instantly evaporated by the powerful aura emanating from him. Big Bu's expression changed. How is it possible? Vegeto smiled, then raised his hand and fired a few energy bombs. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Bang, bang, bang. A thick smoke spread in all directions and a huge mushroom cloud rose up. Vegeto raised his right hand and shouted softly. The next moment, the black smoke that enveloped Big Bu was instantly blown away by a strong airflow. And at the center is Big Bu himself. This strong airflow also blew it thousands of meters away. After the smoke cleared, only then did everyone see the miserable state of Big Bu at this moment. I saw that half of his body was missing and covered with scars. Big Bu looked horrified. Damn it, how can you be so strong? Vegeto said calmly, if it were normal, I might play with you, but now, it's a pity. In order to fight AIXI, you have no choice but to die. Vegeto said, and leaped up again, about to attack again. But just then, Big Bu suddenly laughed, ha ha ha, you have never been my target. But, Big Bu moved his gaze and looked at AIXI and his group. Just at this moment, AIXI, number 21, Klin, Piccolo and others are behind. A pink ball of flesh slowly wriggled out. And suddenly flexed and jumped. Call out. Vegeto's expression changed slightly. The next moment, under his shocked gaze, AIXI and others were all wrapped in the meatball. Big Bu couldn't hide his excitement on his face, he could hardly suppress the smile on his face. He succeeded. Success. Big Bu looked at those meatballs and said, "Come back." Call out. Immediately following, the balls of flesh attached themselves to Big Bu's body and disappeared in an instant. Ha 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 ha. The plan succeeded. Big Bu laughed wildly with joy. I'm invincible. Vegito frowned slightly. How could AIXI be absorbed so easily? There is only one possibility. Acting. Sure enough, within a few dozen seconds, Big Bu hadn't gotten excited yet. His body suddenly exploded. A huge hole suddenly appeared on his stomach. AIXI held Fat Bu in one hand and pulled everyone with the other. It flew out of his body. See this scene. Vegito's mouth corners raised, very good, this is AIXI. With the disappearance of Fat Bu, Big Bu looked extremely ugly, but there was nothing he could do. He had a dull expression and remained motionless for a moment, then his body suddenly underwent a drastic change. I saw that his originally tall and strong body had shrunk several times at a rapid speed. The pupils also turned scarlet. The aura weakened a lot, but became extremely evil. This is Kid Bu. After Kid Bu immersed himself for a moment, the corners of his mouth suddenly curled up, revealing a chilling smile. He 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 he. Kid Bu moved, and in an instant, terrifying explosive power gathered. Rushed towards Vegito below. Vegito remained expressionless and punched out. Boom. Just heard a loud roar. Kid Bu lost half of his body in an instant. But soon. He seemed to have no sense of pain, and after recovering instantly he rushed forward again. Kid Bu has a crazy look on his face and only knows how to destroy, bang, bang, bang. Vegito's expression didn't change at all as he blew it up again and again. Slowly. Kid Bu's recovery also slowed down, and there was a hint of fear in his expression. He stopped rushing and raised one hand with one finger pointing to the sky. Buzz. The next moment. Visible to the naked eye. A pink energy ball condensed and was still growing. Just when he looked crazy and wanted to throw it out. Buzz. A golden blade of light pierced through him. The energy ball dissipated in an instant. Vegito said calmly, "I'll just fool around with you for a while, but luckily there's still a lot of time left." As soon as these words came out, it shows that Vegito has the intention to kill. As expected. The next moment, Vegito put his hands on his waist, forming a calyx shape. In an instant, a blue light appeared, and an astonishing aura gathered from his hands. Turtle, style. Chi, attack. Wave. Ha 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 ha. The energy column carried with it an overwhelming force, destroying everything in its path. Kid Bu's body was hit by this blow. Both body and soul are destroyed. P.S. Please give me some money. Chapter 27. Call. After destroying Ziobu, Vegito raised the corners of his mouth slightly, revealing a smile. Everyone who saw this scene, his face was full of joy. Krillin looked surprised. Great, we won and successfully eliminated Majin Bu. Very good. Piccolo looked relieved. Well, it's finally solved. After saying this, his tone paused, his face slightly solemn, but a more terrifying battle is coming. A more horrific battle? Klin paused. Then he reacted suddenly. Doesn't this refer to AIXI and Vegito? Klin looked nervous. Piccolo, who do you think will win if the two of them fight? Piccolo lowered his head and pondered for a moment before shaking his head and saying, I'm not sure either. If we say that AIXI gave him the concept of invincibility, then the feeling that Vegito gave him was confidence from the inside out. The aura is extremely powerful and confident. This is a recognition of one's own strength. The reason why Vegito is so confident is simple, because he is powerful and invincible. So if two people with such personalities fight, who will win? Have no idea. Because the fight hasn't started yet. Klin was surprised, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We will rarely see a battle like this again. Piccolo nodded, with the same anticipation on his face. Good. Back to AIXI. Just now, number 21 was not absorbed. But seeing that AIXI was willing to be absorbed, she thought about going together. But how do you know? After entering, AIXI led the way with Ki Blast. Many of Big Boo's organs were destroyed. After finding Fat Bu, he even made a big hole in someone's stomach. Number 21 looked at Aixi quietly with her pretty face, thinking secretly in her heart. This guy is too dangerous. I must never spy on him secretly again. Aixi felt someone was looking at her. When I looked back, I found that number 21 looked calm and didn't seem to be peeping. Aixi narrowed her eyes slightly. It's definitely not an illusion. Number 21 was just staring at me. Thinking about it carefully, it seemed that her eyes had never left me today. Aixi is sure. He is definitely not familiar with number 21. So why does she keep looking at herself? After thinking for a while without any result, Aixi decided not to think about it anymore. Right now, the most important thing is to fight Gogeta first. He also wanted to try out what this legendary invincible man was like. Gogeta slowly fell from the air. Then he raised his eyes and looked at Aixi. With a smile on his face, his posture is upright, and his aura is filled with extreme confidence. Gogeta smiled and said, I broke my promise. I said I would finish Majin Buu in 1 minute, but it still took me quite a while. Aixi nodded and said, I understand. It's my genes. Gogeta. What's the meaning? Aixi said calmly, it means you are reckless. You can kill him instantly, but you like to drag it out. Gogeta was speechless, I'm already fast. Aixi smiled and said, I don't mean to blame you. On the contrary, I took this opportunity to save Majin Buu, which is good. Gogeta nodded and smiled, that Fat Bu? I haven't had much contact with him, but since you saved him, he can definitely turn over a new leaf. Aixi nodded, he has a good character and can become a normal person with a little guidance. After the two had a brief conversation. It was planning to start a battle. Gogeta smiled with a confident look on his face, Aixi, come on, let me see your full strength. Hearing this, Aixi raised her eyebrows. So crazy? Aixi didn't say much, just nodded. Immediately, Aixi stepped on the ground with his right foot, and the ground suddenly cracked and split into countless branches. His figure flew out at a speed as fast as a thunderbolt, and in the blink of an eye he arrived in front of Gogeta. Aixi clenched his fists, leaned forward, and suddenly punched out with an extremely powerful fist. He hit Gogeta straight in the stomach. Vegeta's pupil shrank. So fast. Almost in an instant. Gogeta immediately raised his hands and crossed them in front of his chest, trying to block the opponent's attack. But it was still a step too slow. The moment he raised his hands, Aixi's swift and domineering fist followed closely behind. Bang! Only a dull sound was heard. Aixi's fist punched into Vegeta's stomach and lodged deep inside. Vegeta's face changed slightly, and a feeling of pain swept over him. This shows how powerful this punch is. Vegeta's expression turned ruthless. He no longer cared about the pain in his stomach and clenched his right fist violently. All the strength in the body is mobilized here. Bang! Vegeta threw a straight right punch, straight into Aixi's face. But before he could touch Aixi, he saw a hand blocking his attack. Aixi held Vegeta's fist with his right hand, and at the same time retreated and pulled him back violently. Immediately following, he grabbed Vegeta's wrist with his left hand. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. After grabbing Vegeta with both hands, Aixi immediately started a windmill. Pull Vegeta around in circles. As the speed of the circle increased, after images appeared in the original place. After turning dozens of circles, Aixi loosened her hands suddenly. Call out! Vegeta's body suddenly flew for more than 10 kilometers, and finally crashed into several mountains. Only then did it stop. Vegeta climbed up from the rubble and dusted himself off. His face was filled with excitement, so strong. Aixi really lived up to my expectations. Vegeta looked at Aixi, the corners of his mouth slightly raised, revealing a smile full of fighting spirit. You are really strong, I am going to be serious. Hearing this, Aixi's expression remained unchanged, and she looked at Vegeta quietly. Vegeta closed his eyes slightly. Call. After a moment of silence, his eyes suddenly opened, his fists suddenly clenched, and veins on his forehead bulged. Hey 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 hey. Immediately following, a deep roar came from Vegeta's throat. There were ripples at his feet, like rippling water. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The next moment, the small, calm ripples began to expand suddenly, spreading out in all directions. The surrounding wind, flowers, grass, and trees also trembled rapidly due to Vegeto's changes. Hey. Only the next moment. In an instant, Vegeto's hair and eyebrows turned from black to golden. The pupils also changed from pitch black to emerald green, giving people a sharp and powerful feeling. This is Super Vegeto. The words fell. Boom. A golden jet of flame shot up into the sky. In an instant, Vegeto's aura caused a rapid surge. The invincible aura slowly spread out. P.S. Thank you for the money, Starry Sky. Thank you all for your votes. Thank you so much. Chapter 28. Swish, swish, swish. See this scene. The people watching the fight could no longer control their expressions. Piccolo's face was serious. Vegeta has transformed into a Super Saiyan. He is incredibly powerful. He was extremely shocked. Is this the anger that a human can burst out? Krillin nodded. Yeah, I can't feel the upper limit at all. It's like a mountain with no end in sight. Outrageous. And the other side. Number 21 has a serious face. She had to admit that Son Goku and Vegeta were the combined form of a human. The strength is indeed extremely powerful. At least for now. She definitely couldn't beat Vegeta. Thinking of this, No 21's eyes moved slightly, and he couldn't help but look at AIXI. You are more mysterious than Vegeta. How strong is it? After Vegeta transformed into a Super Saiyan, the confident look on his face reappeared. The corners of his mouth rose slightly. AIXI, next time, you have to be careful. AIXI looked calm and was not affected at all. Bring it on. Vegeta smiled, clenched his right fist, and then suddenly opened it. Buzz. Then, I saw 5 golden lights flashing above his 5 fingers, shining brightly and spreading in all directions. 5-finger air bomb. Boom. Vegeta stomped the ground with his right foot, and his body flew out, wrapped in golden flames. The speed is so fast that it cannot be captured by the naked eye. Vegeta pointed his 5 fingers at AIXI and 5 energy bombs were ejected. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. AIXI looked at the attacks flying towards her without dodging or avoiding them, allowing them to hit her. The next moment. Boom. I saw a huge mushroom cloud rising into the sky. It can be seen that the tiny shape of the 5-finger air bomb actually contains a lot of energy. Vegeta looked at the smoke with his eyes narrowed. The breath disappeared. He certainly didn't believe that move could hurt AIXI. So the next moment the breath disappeared. His expression became serious. Always on guard, afraid that AIXI would suddenly appear. However, just then, a voice came from behind him. Are you looking for me? Vegeto's body froze, almost at the moment when AIXI's fist swung at him. His figure instantly disappeared from the spot. Swish! AIXI raised his brows and his fist missed. Not bad. Such a quick reaction. I'm here. Vegeto's voice roared, and his figure appeared behind AIXI. He clenched his right hand tightly, and the extremely powerful fist hit AIXI's face like a meteor hitting the ground. AIXI reacted quickly and just tilted her head slightly to the left. He dodged the opponent's attack. But it's not over yet. Vegeta punched out with both fists, with powerful force and incredible speed. The fist wind was like an impenetrable wall, blocking AIXI's attack route and forcing AIXI to passively defend. Swoosh! 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 AIXI's eyes remained calm as she faced this fierce attack. He did not show any panic. Instead, he continued to dodge with ease. It is worth mentioning. Vegeto's strength, speed, and overall qualities are very high. He can feel it. Vegeta has fully utilized the power and speed of Super Saiyan to the extreme. His fighting talent is also incredible. The punches are powerful and domineering without any hesitation. But as to why AIXI couldn't be defeated, the reason is very simple. Absolute crushing in combat power. AIXI's normal combat effectiveness has reached 5 Jing. Even though Vegeta transformed into a Super Saiyan, he still couldn't reach Kyo's level. How to fight this? Seeing that the attack was useless, Vegeta decided not to waste his energy anymore. He stepped back a few steps, his expression solemn, Your normal combat power is too strong. AIXI nodded, yes. So, at any time, normal combat power is the most important. Vegeta nodded, I'll make a note of that. Then he took a deep breath. Call. Then, Vegeto looked relieved. Vegeto raised the corner of his mouth slightly, AIXI, next, I will fight you with all my strength. AIXI said, that couldn't be better, come on. Vegeto took a deep breath, I'm not very proficient in this form, it may take a while. AIXI nodded, I'll wait for you. Hearing this, Vegeto smiled, then his expression hardened and he clenched his fists. A low, hoarse roar came from his throat. Hey 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 hey. Vegeto's face turned grim, and his aura began to rise rapidly. This time, he used all his strength without reservation. Because there are not many opportunities to come out, let alone fight with AIXI, he must cherish this rare opportunity. Not long after, Vegeto was covered by a dazzling golden light. Lightning surrounded his body, making crackling sounds, which was extremely terrifying. At the same time, his eyebrows disappeared with a roar, and his hair began to extend backwards, with the golden hair reaching his waist before slowly stopping. This is Super Saiyan 3. His aura began to rise rapidly at this moment. In an instant, he crossed the trillion level and arrived in Beijing. AIXI narrowed her eyes slightly. Vegeto's fighting ability is now completely comparable to his. Then, there is no difference in combat power, and what matters is skills and combat talent. AIXI looked slightly excited. Vegeto took a long breath and said slowly, AIXI, this is the Super Saiyan who surpasses Super Saiyan 2. Commonly known as Super Saiyan 3. AIXI nodded, I know. Vegeto smiled, then concluded, this form has many disadvantages. I always feel like something is missing, which causes it to leak air all the time. AIXI raised her eyebrows. Has she realized the disadvantages of Super Saiyan 3 already? Of course, it's not surprising that he could detect it, but what was surprising was that he could feel that he was missing something, which caused the leak. About this, AIXI doesn't quite understand it either. But there are some reasonable explanations. Saiyan's tail can be used to store energy, and the reason why Super Saiyan 3 keeps leaking is because it has no tail. He is quite in agreement with this theory. After all, the tail is a part of Saiyan and an obvious symbol of identity. If you pull it out, doesn't it mean you lose the most important thing? Then, AIXI said slowly, I'm not sure, but I guess it's because of the tail that Super Saiyan 3 has been leaking air. Vegeto was surprised, tail. After a moment of silence, Vegeto smiled and said, forget it, let's leave this problem for them to think about after we disintegrate. I don't have much time, let's start fighting. AIXI nodded, come on. Afterwards, the two of them slowly assumed martial arts stances and restrained their auras. Ready to go. P.S. Thank you for the money, Starry Sky. Chapter 29. Boom. The next moment, two figures shot out at the same time, at such a fast speed that only a shadow was left behind. The two of them did not hesitate and decisively confronted each other head-on. The two figures suddenly collided. Vegeto was agile and flew quickly in front of AIXI. He leaned forward, clenched his fists and punched out fiercely, pointing directly at AIXI's face. Faced with this powerful and swift punch, AIXI's eyes remained unchanged and she was not at all panicked. He easily dodged the attack by turning his head. At the same time, he bent his body slightly and smashed Vegeto's stomach with his right fist. Bang! Just when the blow was about to hit Vegeto's stomach, Vegeto's left hand suddenly crossed across and blocked the blow. He grasped AIXI's fist. The right punch missed, and AIXI followed with a left punch. It hit Vegeto straight in the face. Swish! Vegeto's expression changed slightly. Too fast. AIXI was extremely aggressive and didn't allow him to react. No time to dodge. Only instant transmission. So, Vegeto decisively used instant transmission to dodge the attack. AIXI's expression was calm, and his figure also disappeared from the spot. Chase and bite, bang. 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 Not long after, the sound of two figures' fists colliding with each other was heard in the sky. The roar was like thunder, resounding through the sky. The two men's fighting power was not much different, and neither could gain any advantage over the other. They can only compete with each other in skills and look for flaws. But both of them are players with great talent in martial arts and will not reveal even the slightest flaw to the other. Bang! Their fists collided and the two men stepped back. Vegito looked excited and praised generously, "Aixi, you are worthy of being like this. You have been fighting for such a long time without any flaws." Aixi smiled and said, "There's no need for you to praise me. You didn't reveal any flaws, did you?" After some business exaggeration, Vegito stepped forward and condensed an energy bomb in his hand. When it is about to get close to Aixi, throw it out suddenly. However, the next moment, Aixi raised her hand and waved. Buzz! A blue light shield appeared in front of Aixi, blocking the energy bomb for Aixi. It didn't have any effect. Punisher shield. Vegito saw this and waved his hand. Then, a 5-meter-long blade of light condensed in his hand. Vegito raised his light blade and swung it fiercely at Aixi, boom! Wherever the light blade passed, the area was instantly cut in half by a dense energy. Even the air seemed to split in two. Aixi's pupil shrank. Quickly use instant transmission to get out of the way. But just after he teleported away from that area. Boom! Aixi seemed to realize something. His expression changed and he quickly turned around, raising his hand and swung out a Punisher shield. Boom! Vegito was above Aixi, pointing his palms at Aixi, and launched a large explosion attack. The power is enormous. In less than a second, the Punisher's shield was instantly destroyed. But enough is enough. Aixi condensed 2 blue energy balls in his palms. Divine punishment. He raised his hand and pointed it at Vegito. The next moment, countless blue energies shot out from his palms, countering the Big Bang attack. The two energies collided violently and exploded suddenly, boom! A thick smoke spread from the earth and a huge mushroom cloud rose into the sky. The entire earth began to crack and split into countless branches. Boom! Vaguely visible. Beneath the surface, hot magma emerges from cracks. Swoosh! Swoosh! Almost at the same time, the two men immediately stopped fighting each other and started to attack each other. At this time, right after fighting a wave, you are often at your weakest and most vulnerable to sneak attacks. But they both had almost the same idea. In the sky, two figures wrestled with each other again. Bang! 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 The sound of fists colliding made the whole earth tremble. The other side. Krillin swallowed his saliva, his expression horrified, too scary. I can't see clearly. Piccolo was sweating profusely between his brows and was terrified. His face turned green. After a long silence, he said solemnly, "Too strong, this battle is definitely the most terrifying one I have ever seen. Whether it's a duel of moves or a contest of skills, they're both top-notch. This is number 21. No 21's pretty face was pale, and her eyes were solemn. Compared to Majin Buu, this level of battle is probably the real strength. She still underestimated Aixi. And the combined people. Why is it so strong? She couldn't figure it out. Looking at Aixi, number 21 frowned. To be honest, she actually wanted Aixi's cells at first. But after several contacts, she had given up the idea long ago. Because she felt that with the ability of Majin Buu and the ability to beat Big Buu, she had everything she needed. Even wanted to fight with Aixi. But after this battle, make her deeply aware of her own insignificance. No 21's pretty face was solemn. The fact is that there are always people who are better than you. I have a long way to go to become stronger. Next time, I must not be arrogant. Fortunately, she didn't shamelessly challenge Aixi just now. Otherwise you won't even know how you lost. Back to Aixi and Vegito. The battle between the two has reached a fever pitch. Both of their martial arts uniforms were torn, their outer coats had long disappeared, leaving only the vests underneath. Bang! The moment their fists collided, the two men quickly separated. Vegito took a deep breath, "Hey." Then he said slowly, "Aixi, I'm going to use all my strength." He knew that he didn't have much time left. Hearing this, Aixi nodded, "Come on." The words fell. The two of them made almost identical gestures. The two men put their hands on their waists, forming a calyx shape. Suddenly, a blue light appeared and an extremely terrifying aura spread. Finally, Kamehameha. Chi. Gong. Wave, boom. Vegito on the left, AIXI on the right, both of them fired the final Kamehameha wave almost at the same time. Two huge energy beams carried a devastating aura and contained unparalleled power. Crash suddenly. Neither of them was willing to give in, and they pushed the waves towards each other madly. However, just when the stalemate continued, with a swish, Vegito suddenly turned into two people, one on the left and one on the right. The energy column just brushed against the middle of the two people and went straight through. The two of them were scared out of their wits. I almost died here. AIXI saw this scene, slowly put down her hands, and the energy turned into starlight and scattered. AIXI's mouth corners turned up. This was definitely the most comfortable battle he had ever fought. Vegito. Really strong. To be honest, Vegito's combat experience is really not to be underestimated. If Broly becomes stronger and stronger because his fighting power is skyrocketing, then it is Vegito's fighting talent that is at work. P.S. Thank you for the money. Thank you very much. Chapter 30. After the battle, Son Goku and Vegeta slowly flew towards AIXI, and Piccolo and Krillin, who were watching from the mountain, also flew over when they saw this. Everyone gathered together. Number 21 didn't come closer, but watch from a distance. She has become normal at this moment. That intellectual scientist with fair skin, beautiful face, and long legs. She did not join in other people's conversation, but watched quietly. And the other side. Son Goku just flew over, and the first thing he said when he came into contact with AIXI was, AIXI, you are so strong. Even Super Saiyan 3 Vegito couldn't defeat you. He looked relieved. It's not shameful to lose to AIXI. On the contrary. This time he made a lot of profit. Vegito is the fusion of two people. All the experience gained from this battle will be perfectly returned to the two of them after the disintegration. Vegeta clenched his fist and said to AIXI, Humph, AIXI, don't be too proud too soon. Although this battle started after Kakarot and I merged, I already know what level of strength you are at. I will practice harder. Next time, I will surpass you even without Kakarot. Vegeta had a determined look and a tough tone with a hint of unwillingness as he issued a declaration of war. Although failure will make you frustrated, upset, and angry. But Vegeta didn't this time. Instead, he was very happy. Compared to being crushed without any knowledge. Knocked out by one punch. Or it was the feeling of knowing the other party's background and combat power that made him happy. This makes him even more motivated. AIXI is finally no longer an insurmountable mountain. AIXI smiled, I'll wait for you. Krillin smiled and said, AIXI. I feel that as long as you are here, no matter what enemies appear in the future, it will be useless. No one can beat you. AIXI shook her head and smiled, that's impossible. I told you that gods of destruction is a being that I cannot defeat. Not to mention angel and the like. Piccolo nodded and said calmly, indeed, we cannot ignore the strength of others. Piccolo pondered for a moment and then said slowly, I decided to stay in seclusion for a while. Son Goku looked confused, why? Piccolo. Piccolo had a calm expression, I am so far behind you. Standing in front of you is like a primitive man. Everyone. Klin was dissatisfied, if you are a primitive man, then I am a paramecium. Piccolo did not respond, but said calmly, anyway, I will stay in seclusion for a while until I find a path that suits me. After saying, he didn't stop for a moment and left without looking back. Son Goku looked helpless, Piccolo this guy. Vegeta crossed his arms, humph. Useless behavior. Other races will never be able to stand up in front of Saiyan. Son Goku. Krillin. Son Goku frowned. Vegeta, what you said is too harsh. We can't underestimate others. Didn't you hear what AIXI said about gods of destruction? Saiyan is not invincible. Vegeta frowned, looking annoyed, Kakarot, don't forget that you are also a Saiyan. As he spoke, he paused. His face became even uglier. I haven't looked for you yet, Kakarot, tell me honestly, how did Super Saiyan 3 come about? Why didn't you use it when you were fighting me? Hearing this, Son Goku's expression froze and he smirked. Is it possible that this is something Vegito could do? Fart. Vegeta interrupted him and said coldly, sharing combat experience and abilities, I know everything. Son Goku. AIXI looked indifferent. Okay, nothing happened, let's disband. Hearing this, everyone stopped arguing and nodded without objection. And at this time, Son Goku looked at AIXI and said with a smile, AIXI, I want to ask you a favor. As soon as these words came out, Vegeta quickly looked over. What tricks is Kakarot playing next? AIXI was slightly puzzled, tell me about it. Son Goku smiled and said, can I train with you for a while? Vegeta's pupil shrank, and he quickly asked, Kakarot, what do you mean? Son Goku smiled and said, AIXI is very strong. I want to learn from him. Vegeta's brows were furrowed, his face livid. Okay, okay, okay. Play like this? He just issued a declaration of war to AIXI, he couldn't just follow suit, right? Learn from AIXI's experience and receive AIXI's teachings. In the end, fight AIXI? That's a bit contrary to Tian Gang. But soon, as AIXI spoke, his brows were relieved and he felt extremely refreshed. AIXI shook her head, no, I only accept one apprentice. Son Goku looked lost, ah. Haha, Kakarot, stop thinking about taking shortcuts. The only way to martial arts is to figure it out on your own. Vegeta said with a proud smile. AIXI said calmly, but I can find a stronger teacher for you. Hearing this, Vegeta's face froze. Son Goku looked delighted, who? AIXI said calmly, you will know later. Then he said no more and prepared to leave. But just then, a voice suddenly came. Goku, Goku. Something terrible has happened. Something terrible has happened. The voice was anxious and hurried. Son Goku looked confused, hey. Adult Kaiu. That voice was none other than King Kai. At this moment, King Kai had cold sweat on his face. It's me, Goku. Son Goku looked confused, what's wrong? Lord Kai, why are you in such a hurry? What's the big deal? Seeing this, Vegeta also cast his gaze over. AIXI was also a little confused. What happened? King Kai said solemnly, something big happened in the underworld. A little devil who was responsible for guarding the soul cleaning machine, was neglected in his duty. The jar storing the evil energy was not replaced in time, causing the machine to malfunction and explode. The evil energy released by the explosion corroded the little ghost. As a result, the most evil existence in history has been born, the collective evil of the entire universe, evil thought wave. The words fell. Everyone looked shocked. Son Goku looked serious, Lord Kai, I understand. King Kai continued, Goku, the people sent by King Kai from the other galaxy were defeated by the evil thoughts. Now the only ones the North Galaxy can rely on are you. Son Goku nodded, we'll be right there. King Kai suddenly said, oh, remember to call AIXI, that guy can definitely deal with the evil thoughts. Hearing this, Son Goku hesitated for a moment, AIXI, do you want to go? AIXI smiled and said, I'll go. It's like giving me a pillow when I feel sleepy. Evil thought wave. Isn't this a character related to Gogeta? As long as we defeat the evil thought wave, the template progress will definitely increase dramatically. Son Goku was stunned, are you alone? AIXI nodded, yes, I'll go. You will be responsible for cleaning up the people he resurrected in the human world. Son Goku hesitated for a moment and nodded, okay, I'll leave it to you. P.S. Thank you all for your votes, and thank you Starry Sky for your monthly votes. Thank you very much. Chapter 31. AIXI nodded. Then no more words were said. Instant transmission, headed to the underworld. Original place. When Son Goku saw AIXI leaving, the group hurriedly headed towards the city. Protect human life first. Everyone dispersed. Number 21 was left standing alone. Number 21 sighed, waiting for so long. Just to talk to AIXI. But I didn't expect it. Never mind. Just visit his house. Then, her figure disappeared from the spot. At the same time. Underworld. The underworld is in chaos at this moment. The King of Hell had beads of sweat on his forehead and looked ugly and anxious. It's over, it's over. It's all over now. This BD Xianyanbo imprisoned himself and reversed the laws of life and death in the entire universe. Cause all the people in the underworld to be resurrected. Not only did it cause all the rules of the underworld to become chaotic, a lot of evil people were also released to wreak havoc on the world of the living. The question is, he has reported it to his superiors. But none of the people sent by the great King Kai are useful. However, at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared outside the barrier. The person who came was AIXI. AIXI immediately saw the big yellow fat man doing evil. Plan. Evil thought wave. At this moment, Xianyanbo was yellow all over, tall and fat, with an ugly appearance. Unconsciously causing destruction. See this scene. AIXI didn't hesitate at all. Buzz. He raised his hand to condense energy, and a blue light suddenly appeared. The terrifying energy poured out crazily. Then, he suddenly shot out the energy bullet in his hand. Just a moment. The energy bomb approached the evil thought wave, and then before he could react. Then there was a deafening explosion, boom. The ground was filled with sand and rocks, and an astonishing mushroom cloud rose up, which was terrifying. And the evil thoughts of the person being attacked. Naturally, he couldn't escape from this energy wave. He was hit hard by this powerful shock wave. His body quickly began to shrink and gather. The giant yellow fat man just now is also visible to the naked eye. Compressed into a human figure. See this scene. The King of Hell's eyes lit up. It works. Finally, someone useful has arrived. Hurry up, go. Kill the evil wave. The King of Hell said excitedly. And the outside world. After shrinking for a while, the evil thought wave gradually turned into a demon-like creature with animal horns, a long tail of a demon lizard, and wearing purple armor. He stood upright, looking at AIXI quietly. It gives people a great sense of oppression invisibly. But AIXI didn't take it seriously. This little bit of energy wasn't enough to make him feel powerful. Why, you don't accept it? AIXI said lightly. Xianyanbo had a cold expression, Gu Wubo's face was clearly visible, and the corners of his mouth were slightly raised. He is laughing. Immediately, I saw his right hand slowly raised, and suddenly, he reached out to the air in front of him. Call out. The next moment, his right hand suddenly appeared around AIXI's head and attacked AIXI's neck. He spread his big hands, trying to grab AIXI's neck. AIXI looked calm and turned her head slightly. Escaped the attack. Dimension transfer. Can create space teleportation anywhere. Deflect energy bullets from yourself or your opponent, absorb them and release them at a different position. At the same time, you can also use fists and feet to attack and sneak attack. Seeing this, Xianyanbo laughed evilly, and his left hand suddenly extended towards AIXI. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. His left hand became extremely long, as if there was no limit. In an instant, Xianyanbo's right hand changed the space, and his left hand stretched countless times. One on the left and one on the right tried to capture AIXI. But AIXI faced this shifting time and space and the infinitely stretched left and right hands. Suddenly I had a good idea. AIXI dodged the fatal pursuit of the two hands and moved at a very fast speed. He grabbed both of the other's arms. Then, under Xianyanbo's shocked gaze, tie the other person's hands together and make a knot. Deadlock. Xianyanbo looked unhappy, and tried to pull it open but found that he couldn't. His body decisively turned into particle state. Then reorganized again. Xianyanbo rushed towards AIXI with anger in his eyes and a sword in his hand. He raised the sword in his hand. Aim at AIXI in front. Swing violently. Call out. In an instant, a slash swept towards AIXI. It's incredibly powerful and cuts through everything in its path. But just when it was about to touch AIXI, it suddenly turned into starlight and dissipated. Isolated by air. Next, it's my turn. AIXI looked indifferent, after saying this. The figure suddenly slid out at such a speed that no trace was left, only an afterimage. AIXI appeared above Xianyanbo and hit Xianyanbo's face with two knee strikes, bang. Bang. Two dull crashes broke the silence. Xianyanbo felt pain and retreated repeatedly. Bang. But just as he stepped back, suddenly, my back was struck by lightning again. AIXI punched it in and got stuck deep inside. Ah! Evil Thought Wave's pupils trembled and his body shook uncontrollably. He couldn't believe it. This person is so strong. After AIXI punched Xianianbo a few times and made him doubt his life, she did not stop attacking. He currently does not know Gogeta's soul punisher, so it's not available for the time being. But the evil thought wave is a collection of evil thoughts in the entire universe. Conventional capabilities may not be able to eliminate it. Purification is necessary to completely eliminate the other party. That being the case, then try to suppress it by force. He just didn't believe it. Could all the evil thoughts in the universe snatch him away? The next moment, AIXI's expression condensed and he clenched his fists. Hey 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 hey! A low roar came from his throat. Boom! The ground at AIXI's feet suddenly cracked and split into countless branches. A golden ripple appeared around his feet. The ripples spread outward wildly. Hey 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 hey! As AIXI's aura gradually surged, a ball of golden jet-like flame suddenly rose from his body, reaching the sky, which was extremely spectacular. AIXI's hair and eyebrows also turned from pitch black to golden in an instant. His pupils turned green, and his eyes gave people a sharp and indifferent feeling. Under this gaze, Xianianbo shuddered all over. He is terrified? No. Xianianbo's eyes turned fierce and he was bluffing. I am the strongest. As he did so, he stomped his feet hard on the ground, which cracked instantly, and he shot out at an extremely fast speed. But in AIXI's eyes, no different from a snail crawling. AIXI looked calm, and slowly placed his hands on his waist, forming a calyx shape, and shouted in a low voice, finally. Turtle. Chi. Gong. As AIXI uttered each word, a blue light suddenly appeared in his palm, and then a blue energy bomb emitting an extremely terrifying aura gathered. Xianianbo approached, raised his hand and punched out fiercely. This punch condensed all his strength. But just as the fist was about to reach AIXI. Wave. Boom. AIXI pushed with both palms, and finally the Kamehameha wave blasted straight out. Xianianbo, who was standing in front of AIXI, took the blow hard. The energy wave was huge and majestic, with an overwhelming force that disintegrated the evil thought wave bit by bit, and annihilated it. Who says evil thoughts can only be used for purification? Pure strength will do just as well. P.S. Thank you for the flowers and votes. Chapter 32. After eliminating the evil thoughts, the barrier that sealed the King of Hell also shattered like glass in an instant, turning into starlight and dissipating. At the same time, Frisia and other people who appeared in the human world were released by evil thoughts to harm the human world. It is also dissipating. Son Goku looked surprised. It seems that AIXI has solved the evil thought wave. Vegeta crossed his arms, looking impatient. Humph, Kakarot, I want to go back. What maintains peace on Earth? It's such a waste of time. He is Vegeta, but he is wasting his precious training time to protect a group of Earthlings. Is that wrong? If it weren't for Kakarot, he wouldn't have stayed there for even a second. It would be fine if he were asked to deal with the evil thoughts. Regardless of whether you can win or not, at least you have saved face. But I am extremely reluctant to fight the minions here. Son Goku was stunned. Hey! Vegeta, you! But before he could persuade him, Vegeta shot away. At the same time, Underworld. The problem was solved, and the King of Hell was extremely happy and had a smile on his face all the time. He looked at AIXI with excitement. This is the first time I've seen you. What a shame that I'm only meeting someone so strong now. AIXI's mouth twitched slightly. What are you regretting? Are you kidding me? That's not necessary. I still want to live a few more years. Hearing this, the King of Hell was stunned for a moment, then suddenly realized what was going on, and said with embarrassment, I'm so sorry, I was so confused, because you are too strong. By the way, why didn't they let Goku down? I remember Goku was also very strong. AIXI said calmly, he can't beat the evil thought wave, so it's useless for him to come. The King of Hell nodded, so that's how it is. Afterwards, after some chatting, the King of Hell smiled and said that he would extend AIXI's life to thank him for rescuing him. AIXI thanked him and then left. Earth. Sato. Outside an apartment. AIXI said calmly in her heart, System, open the personal attribute template. I just solved the evil wave, and the progress of unlocking the Gogeta template increased by 15%. At this moment he couldn't wait to open it and take a look. Okay. The mechanical voice of the system came, ethereal and pleasant. As the system's voice fell, a rectangular blue border slowly appeared in front of AIXI, with rows of personal attributes revealed in detail within the border. Host, AIXI. Combat Power, 300 Kyo. Bloodline, Pure Blood Scion, Top, Skills, Flying Technique, Control of Ki, Big Bang Kamehameha Wave, Final Kamehameha Wave, Resonance Explosion, Divine Punishment, Ki Heian, Clone, Soul Punisher, Main Template, Gogeta Super, Unlock Level, 65%, Subtemplate, Unknown, Unlocked, Alternative Templates, Jebit, Satan, Tao Pai Pai, Supreme Kai Xin. The combat power has reached 300 Jing. I also learned the ultimate skill of Flexible Referee. AIXI looked surprised. But the happiest thing is not this, but that AIXI can clearly feel it. He can already transform into Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue. His strength has skyrocketed again. AIXI was thinking about going to Wampa planet to meet the legendary Super Saiyan after a while. Broly. Although Gogeta has not been unlocked 100%, there is a high possibility of failure. But he was not panicked. Because there are some bug skills that have not been used yet. For example, Critical Strike, Attack Speed, Hypnosis. These are all active skills that he needs to activate on his own before he can use them. After opening it, red light and green light will appear on his hands. This is the crit and attack speed. After she calmed down, AIXI looked towards her own apartment. Number 21. What was she doing in her own home? After slowly walking into the apartment, AIXI caught a glimpse. On the sofa in the living room, two women were chatting animatedly. They were his wives number 18 and number 21. After seeing AIXI, No 18's face lit up with joy and he quickly stood up to greet her. AIXI, you're back. Thanks for your hard work. After number 18 finished speaking, he smiled and pointed to number 21 standing beside him. AIXI, she's number 21, the same as me. Same as me. Naturally means experienced. It seems that number 21 is also a poor person. Damn Dr. Gero. Number 21 looked at AIXI and smiled, hello, AIXI. At the same time, he stretched out a hand and handed it over. AIXI didn't know why the other party's attitude changed so much. He was clearly keeping a distance from her just now. But he still smiled and held the hand that the other person extended. Hello, number 21. No 21's hands are white and delicate, with slender, shiny, delicate and smooth fingers, like a piece of exquisite work of art. But after just a few seconds, AIXI let go of the other person. It's nice to touch. But number 18 is still there. The number 21 in front of me is dressed differently than when we first met. She took off the white lab coat. Reveal the lining. She wore a black slim dress that perfectly outlined her proud figure. The hem of the skirt reaches the knees, revealing long, fair and smooth legs. Combined with her temperament, it gives people a cool and intellectual beauty. Number 18 laughed and said, don't just stand there like an idiot. Sit down. Hearing this, the three of them then sat on the sofa. AIXI sits with number 18, opposite number 21. After some understanding, number 21 then smiled and said the purpose of his trip, AIXI, actually I came here to see you. AIXI asked doubtfully, see me? Number 21 nodded, well, I want to ask you a favor. AIXI said, tell me about it. 21 hesitated for a moment and looked at 18 a few times, a little hesitant. Seeing this, number 18 said softly, it's okay, go ahead. Hearing this, number 21 then spoke with some difficulty, that is, can you let me practice with you? As soon as these words came out, her pretty face blushed uncontrollably. Shame. AIXI was stunned, looking a little puzzled, why? Aren't you very strong? Do you still want to practice with me? Number 21 said sternly, it's different. My strength is only relative to other people. I'm still far behind you. P.S. Thank you for your money and votes. Thank you so much. Chapter 33. After hearing what number 21 said, AIXI remained silent. What's going on? Why are they all pestering me to practice with me? First was Son Gohan a year ago. Then there is Son Goku, and now number 21. He accepted Son Gohan as his apprentice because he didn't want to see Son Gohan's talent and potential being buried. The second reason is that he really likes Son Gohan as a person, no matter his personality or character. All good. He didn't accept Son Goku for two reasons. First, he was lazy and it would be a waste of time to teach Son Goku more than Son Gohan. Son Goku's talent was far inferior to Son Gohan's. Second, he had a better master, Whis, and he didn't want to mislead his students. But now on the 21st. So, should we collect it on the 21st? And number 21 said this. Her pretty face stared at AIXI, after seeing that she was in deep thought. Number 21 seemed to feel that something was wrong, so he quickly added. If you think it's not possible, tell me, I won't stay away. The words fell. No 18's beautiful eyes also looked over and looked at AIXI. In fact, she still sympathized with number 21, who had the same experience as her. Even if we get rid of the Red Ribbon Army, we still live in fear. So anxious to practice and become stronger. It must be because I'm afraid of going back to my old life. Life and death controlled by others. So that's why you want to study with AIXI? Thinking of this, No 18's pretty face and eyes turned slightly red. I have love XI, who cares and cherishes me all the time. There is no need to think about these things at all. But number 21 did not. AIXI hesitated for a moment and said calmly, it's not impossible. Hearing this, number 21 looked delighted and raised his eyes quickly. But the next second. Then AIXI said, but. No 21's breathing became tight. She looked at AIXI with resentment on her pretty face. Big brother. Don't say half the words. Take in the resentful expression on No 21's face as he puffs his lips. So cute. AIXI raised the corners of her mouth slightly and smiled, you can practice with me, but you need to become my disciple. Become my disciple. Number 21 frowned slightly. AIXI nodded, yes, if you want to practice with me, you can't do it for free, you must become my disciple. No 21's pretty face showed some hesitation. She didn't expect this to happen. In fact, it is not impossible to become a disciple. But AIXI has number 18 by her side, so wouldn't it be a bit presumptuous for her to become his disciple? Seeing number 21 hesitant, AIXI immediately said, no, forget it. Hearing this, No 21's pretty face changed and she looked a little flustered. No, no. Sure. That is. Halfway through her words, she slowly looked at number 18, somewhat hesitantly. Isn't that a bit presumptuous? Hearing this, number 18 smiled and said, of course not. If you become AIXI's disciple, we can meet and play together more often. Number 18 didn't think there was anything wrong at all, instead he was very happy. Number 21 got along very well with her. We just made an appointment to go shopping together. Hearing this, number 21 suddenly felt a little ashamed. She was actually having wild thoughts, even though number 18 trusted her so much. So, number 21 looked at AIXI seriously with a serious face, then, I'm leaving it to you, Master AIXI. Hearing this, AIXI raised the corner of her mouth, yet. Very good, you came on board by yourself. The following month. Life goes on as usual. AIXI's daily life remains pretty much the same as usual. It's just that now there's a number 21 in the family. There has been a slight change. But this was invited on the 18th. It has nothing to do with him. And he is also happy to see the arrival of number 21. This day. Weekend. Son Gohan still comes to AIXI to practice as usual. After standing at the door and knocking, the door slowly opened. Son Gohan, who had become accustomed to it, said without thinking. Master's wife, I'm here to find Master to repair. But only half the story. Son Gohan's face froze. It was number 21 who opened the door. The smile on Son Gohan's face instantly disappeared. Why you again? Upon hearing this, No 21's pretty face flushed and she looked at Son Gohan with dissatisfaction. Gohan, why did you yell the wrong thing again? How many times has this happened? Son Gohan scratched his head and smiled awkwardly, sorry, I'm used to it. And it's not entirely my fault. You didn't deny it yourself. Number 21 narrowed his eyes slightly, what did you say? Son Gohan quickly shook his head, nothing, nothing, hateful. He obviously likes his master, but he still pretends to be a disciple. Get close to the master under the guise of becoming his apprentice. Son Gohan thought he had figured it all out. At this time, another voice came. Gohan, you're here so early today. AIXI walked out slowly. When Son Gohan saw AIXI again, he immediately smiled and said, "Yeah, my mother made a lot of delicious food for me today, and I brought it here specially for Master and Master's wife to taste." As he spoke, he slowly took out a capsule and pressed it lightly. Then, a box of exquisitely packaged food appeared in his hands. AIXI smiled and said, "Thank you." After receiving the food, Son Gohan asked curiously again, "Master, what are we going to practice today?" As soon as these words came out, number 21 also looked over. I have to say, AIXI's teaching really benefited her a lot. Just 1 month. Her strength is no longer what it used to be. It is no exaggeration to say that she can now beat herself a month ago with one hand. Hearing this, AIXI looked indifferent. "No practice today, today we will study the new form." Hearing this, Son Gohan looked delighted. A new form. Number 21 was stunned, thinking that it was nothing for her. She is not Saiyan, so where does her new form come from? But despite thinking so, she still followed him to a deserted open space. AIXI said calmly, "Let's talk about Gohan first. Let me ask you, Gohan, have you mastered the full power of Super Saiyan 3 now?" Son Gohan nodded, "Got it." AIXI nodded, "Very good, then what I want to talk about today is a form above Super Saiyan 3. The words fell. Son Gohan and number 21 both looked over. Both of them had surprise on their faces. Son Gohan looked surprised. "Master, there are forms above Super Saiyan 3. AIXI nodded, "Yes. Super 4. Currently, he wants Son Gohan to complete the Saiyan evolution route first, and then the God evolution route." An aside. Number 21 looked a little shocked. She didn't expect it either. Saiyan actually has so many forms. What a perverted race. AIXI said, "Super Saiyan 4 is a form above Super Saiyan 3. If you want to become Super Saiyan 4, first of all, you need to have strong enough normal strength to reach the critical point of transformation into Super Saiyan 4. Secondly, you need to transform into a gorilla, then transform into a Super Saiyan based on the gorilla, and then regain your sanity." Son Gohan frowned slightly. "Gorilla?" AIXI nodded, "Well, Super Saiyan 4 is an atavistic form, which needs to be achieved through the gorilla." Then, AIXI stopped talking nonsense and slowly spread his palms forward. Slowly. Buzz. A white light suddenly appeared in his palm, and a dazzling energy gathered in his hand. Number 21 asked in confusion, "What is this?" AIXI said calmly, "Artificial moon. P.S. Please give me some money and votes." Chapter 34. The words just fell. AIXI no longer hesitated and threw it gently upwards. The next moment, I saw the artificial moon slowly rising and flying straight towards the sky. AIXI looked at the moon that had already flown high into the sky and spoke to the system in her heart. "System, change the sub-template to Supreme Kai Xin. Okay." The next moment, AIXI only felt that his body had more power and spirit. "Gohan, I'm going to grow you a tail next." AIXI said lightly. Son Gohan was surprised. "Tail? Can this thing grow any longer?" AIXI nodded, then raised her hand and waved. "Creation and restoration, call out." The next moment, visible to the naked eye, a long fluffy black tail appeared behind Son Gohan, breaking through the clothes and slowly emerging. See this scene. Son Gohan was shocked. It happened just like that? AIXI said calmly, "Okay, you can look at the moon now." Hearing this, Son Gohan quickly recovered from his surprise and nodded seriously. "Good." Seeing this, AIXI looked at number 21 and pulled him slowly backwards. "Let's stay away." Number 21 didn't notice anything unusual and nodded. Boom. There was a loud bang, and Son Gohan's clothes suddenly exploded. His pupils turned scarlet, and his body was red because of looking at the moon. Start to expand rapidly. Soon, a huge, bloodthirsty and violent black gorilla appeared in the wilderness. The gorilla breathed heavily, waving his hands and beating his chest. Roar, roar, roar. It seems that he has lost his mind. AIXI was not surprised at all, and silently recited the system in her mind again. The unknown template was swapped back. Then he looked into Sun Gohan's eyes. Eye to eye. Hypnosis. This is his first time using it. AIXI's eyes were fixed on the gorilla Sun Gohan, and he secretly cast hypnosis. The next moment, Sun Gohan's originally bloodthirsty, violent, and irrational behavior stopped instantly, and his face became dull. Obviously, he has been hypnotized by AIXI. Soon after AIXI's hypnosis, Sun Gohan slowly regained his sanity. The bloodthirsty look slowly disappeared. A humanoid demeanor appeared. He looked at AIXI with a grateful look on his face. Thank you, Master. Sun Gohan looked at AIXI and thanked him. AIXI nodded, you should become Super Saiyan 4 soon. Sun Gohan nodded quickly and growled. Boom. Suddenly, a layer of golden aura rose around him. His black fur also turned golden in an instant, filled with a sacred glow. After turning into a golden gorilla, Sun Gohan transformed into Super Saiyan 4 without much effort. Suddenly, a dazzling golden light appeared and completely enveloped him. The gorilla, which was as tall as a mountain, shrank visibly in an instant. After a while, it slowly shrank into a human shape. Original place. Sun Gohan has transformed into Super Saiyan 4. At this moment, his eyes were full of disbelief. His aura was extremely powerful at this moment, his body was wrapped in a layer of red fluff, and his hair was long and messy, reaching to his waist. Sun Gohan was still in shock and hadn't recovered. That's it. Transformed into Super Saiyan 4. It was sloppy, but Sun Gohan looked hard to act excited. He could feel that Super Quadruped was very strong, so strong that he felt he could defeat his own master. But this thought only lasted less than a second. He rejected it immediately. What are you thinking about? Since you want to beat the master. Sun Gohan wanted to slap himself, this was simply treason. And at this time, AIXI and number 21 flew over slowly. AIXI looked Sun Gohan over and nodded in approval, not bad, very strong. Hearing this, Sun Gohan looked surprised, thank you for your approval, master. AIXI said calmly, don't be too happy too soon, go back and practice hard. Within a month, I want to see your Super 4 at full power. Sun Gohan. AIXI raised her eyebrows slightly, why? Is it difficult? Sun Gohan smiled bitterly and said, Master, full power for a month is indeed a bit too much to ask, but I will try my best. AIXI said, I say this because I believe in your potential. 1 month is enough for you. It depends on whether you are willing to give it a try. Hearing this, Sun Gohan said seriously, I know. I'm willing to fight. We must not let down the master's trust. AIXI nodded, well, your training today ends here, you can go back now. Sun Gohan was stunned, hey. Is this the end? AIXI smiled and said, if you want to practice, it's not impossible. Sun Gohan. Sun Gohan smiled and said, that's not necessary. Then he quickly took off and prepared to escape. But at this moment, AIXI suddenly said, wait. Sun Gohan paused, turned around, and looked confused, what's wrong, master? AIXI said calmly, when you go back, you can share this form with your father and Vegeta. Do you remember the general process? Hearing this, Sun Gohan nodded, remember. Tails, Moon, regain your sanity. AIXI nodded, okay, you can go. Sun Gohan slowly flew away. Original place. Only AIXI and number 21 are left. 21 looked a little confused and asked softly, AIXI, what should I do today? AIXI smiled and said, help you raise your combat power to the level of Sun Gohan just now. Hearing this, No 21's first reaction was disbelief. She is not Saiyan, how could her combat power be increased so much in one go? But the one who said this was AIXI. Number 21 has to believe it again. How? No 21's pretty face was full of confusion. AIXI smiled and said nothing. Look at her quietly. Seeing this, No 21's face flushed and he understood instantly. Immediately, she slowly lowered her head and whispered softly, Master. After saying this, she already felt like she couldn't face anyone. AIXI laughed and said, "We are obviously a master-disciple relationship, but you rarely call me master. Do you think you are taking advantage of me?" Number 21 said stubbornly, "Isn't it good enough that we know what's going on?" AIXI said with a smile, "Who knows? What if he has a double-faced attitude?" 21 It was like a thorn in her throat, but she still insisted. "I won't." AIXI sighed and said, "Alas, since you don't acknowledge that I am your master, forget it. I am willing to bear it alone." Number 21 said anxiously, Don't be like that. I'll just call you." AIXI shook her head and said, "I didn't force you. Number 21 has a strong sense of self-esteem, he can see that. It is similar to Vegeta. Typical tsundere. Sharp tongue but a soft heart. I admit it in my heart, but I can't say it out loud. P.S. Please give me some money and votes." Chapter 35. This won't work. Number 21 shook his head, "No one forced me. I did it voluntarily." AIXI nodded, "That's not bad." Number 21 was helpless, "Master, can you teach me?" She really wanted to know the method AIXI mentioned to help her improve her combat power. So, I didn't hesitate to put on a pitiful expression. With such an expression on his cool and intellectual face, even AIXI was a little surprised. AIXI said calmly, "It's very simple, just use one of your abilities and then make use of it." Number 21 was puzzled, what ability? Her own body. Could it be that she herself doesn't understand how to play? "Spread your hands," AIXI said. Number 21 was puzzled, but did as he was told. He slowly stretched out his hand, and then a crystal clear, soft and white little hand appeared. She spread her palm and handed it over. "Promise." AIXI nodded, then spread out her palms, gathering energy there. Suddenly, a blue light appeared. A blue energy slowly condensed here, and AIXI continued to compress it, making the energy appear extremely powerful. "You are ready to receive my energy." Number 21 nodded, and a suction force gathered from her hands. This is her ability when absorbing energy. AIXI saw this and flipped her hand and threw the energy bomb in her palm into No 21's hand. "Call out." The next moment, it was visible to the naked eye that the energy released by AIXI was instantly absorbed by Number 21. This energy is extremely pure, and the energy contained in it is extremely powerful. Therefore, the moment Number 21 absorbed it, he could clearly feel that his energy had expanded a lot. Number 21 was slightly surprised, "Master, are you going to let me absorb the energy? Is this okay?" AIXI smiled and said, "You don't understand. This is just an appetizer. Next, I will pour all my energy into your body. You must take it all and don't let it leak out." Number 21 was shocked, "All the energy?" AIXI nodded, "Yes." Number 21 shook his head without hesitation, "No, absolutely not, I will break down." AIXI said calmly, "Don't worry, I will protect you at any time." Number 21 hesitated for a moment, but nodded gently, "Okay, come on." Immediately. She didn't think too much about it and waited quietly to be filled with energy. The next moment, AIXI flipped her hand and condensed an extremely exquisite and powerful energy, then placed it on No 21's hand. Continuous output. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 1 minute, 5 minutes. At this moment, No 21's pretty face had turned pale from the initial joy. "If you keep absorbing energy, you will die because your body cannot bear it." She was in danger now. "It's all thanks to AIXI's encouragement that I can keep going." Looking at the pale face of Number 21, AIXI muttered to herself. "Replaced unknown with Supreme Kai Xin." AIXI said slowly, "Just hold on for a while, come on. For people like Number 21 who can absorb the energy of others and transform it into combat power. If you want to become stronger, just keep giving her energy." As to why this method is not practical, it can only be because of his coming. The reasons were very simple. First, there was no one to continuously supply her with energy. Second, her body couldn't handle it. No 21's face turned pale, yet. 10 minutes later, Number 21 finally couldn't bear it anymore. Her petite body lay limp, powerless, without any strength at all. Her mind was in a state of confusion. As soon as your legs and feet become weak, you will fall backwards. AIXI saw this and quickly went forward to hug the other person. A fragrance came over me, and I felt a soft touch on my body. But AIXI didn't have time to pay attention to these, but raised her hand to help number 21 recover. Supreme Kai Xin's recovery ability. Soon 21's physical strength was fully restored. After 21 seconds of recovering his strength, he slowly opened his eyes. There was a gleam in her eyes. Call out. The next moment, I saw a ball of white gust of wind spreading around her. There is a strong wind. Her anger surged rapidly. Number 21 was excited, hugged AIXI and said excitedly, "You have really become stronger." The delicate body was in his arms, and he felt the softness. AIXI looked down. A hint of white can be seen faintly. "I'm super, huge." AIXI smiled and said, "Don't get excited, let's do it a few more times." With the previous experience as a lesson, number 21 nodded repeatedly, as lovable as a chick pecking at rice. Next, it is to repeatedly infuse energy into number 21. Recover. This went on for more than 10 times. No 21's combat power is already comparable to that of Super Saiyan 4 Son Gohan. AIXI couldn't help but sigh, this is really outrageous. How can there be someone who can convert energy into combat power? Number 21 had a satisfied look on her face, and now she could call him Master fluently. "I don't feel ashamed at all." "Master, are you coming again?" AIXI's mouth twitched, "Come on, you want to suck me dry." Number 21 chuckled and said, "Just kidding." AIXI was helpless, "Okay, today's practice ends here, I want to go home for dinner." It is indeed a bit tiring to transmit energy all the time. Number 21 nodded, "Yet. Back home." After eating and drinking, AIXI returned to the room. After chatting with number 18 about recent events, time slowly came to evening. Number 18 suddenly leaned closer and looked at AIXI lovingly, "AIXI, it's time to clock in today." The words fell. Number 18 kissed her without hesitation. A long time. Lip parting. "Aren't you afraid that the neighbors will hear it?" AIXI stroked No 18's fair face and smiled. Next door. The one living there is naturally number 21. Hearing this, No 18's face froze, and he looked a little discouraged. "What should I do then?" AIXI spread her hands, expressing helplessness, "I don't know." Seeing this, number 18 angrily stepped forward and bit his arm, "You are so arrogant, what should I do?" "Who told you to bring number 21 into the house?" AIXI laughed. Number 18. 18 struggled for a moment, then revealed a desperate expression, "Whatever, I heard it." Hearing this, AIXI naturally couldn't remain indifferent. "P.S. Please give me some money and votes." Chapter 36. The next day, AIXI got up early and made breakfast. After a fierce battle with number 18, he finally won with an unknown ability. Number 18 was beaten so hard that he couldn't fight back. Can only passively take the beating. Critical strike, attack speed, charm hand, and kidney strengthening method. 4 combo skills are coming down. This made number 18, who had unlimited energy, beg for mercy. Da-da-da. At this moment, a voice came from the stairwell. AIXI looked in the direction of the sound. I found out that the person coming was number 18. AIXI was slightly surprised, "Why don't you sleep a little longer?" Number 18 rolled his eyes, "What time is it? Are you still sleeping?" "I'm not a lazy pig." AIXI laughed and said, "Why did you beg for mercy for so long? Don't you need to recover?" Hearing this, No 18's pretty face was visibly flushed, making her look very charming. She snorted coldly. "It's all your fault. Who knows if you used any shady tricks? How else could I lose?" Speaking of this, she got angry. The two of them were originally fine. But ever since she provoked AIXI, she has never won again. Not once. She couldn't even hold back her voice. Number 18 sighed, "Oh, we made so much noise, number 21 must have heard it. She's usually up by this time." AIXI said with a smile, "If she hears it, let her hear it. What are you afraid of? Come over and have breakfast." Number 18 looked at AIXI's clothes and looked like a dead pig that was not afraid of boiling water. "I was so angry that I couldn't even speak." He walked angrily in front of AIXI and said, "What are you eating? Go wake up." No 21. Not cute. AIXI smiled, stood up and pinched No 18's face. Go away. Number 18 raised his hand to take a picture of it, saying with shame and anger. Oh. AIXI raised her eyebrows slightly, it seems that I was too gentle today. Number 18. And just at this moment, another sound of footsteps was heard in the stairwell. The two of them looked over when they heard the sound. Number 21 slowly walked down the stairs. After seeing the two of them, her pretty face involuntarily flushed. But she soon suppressed it. Morning, morning. She looked calm and pretended to be calm. Number 18 smiled awkwardly, good morning, I was just about to call you. AIXI looked at number 21 and couldn't help but have some guesses in her mind. So weak? At the table, the three of them tacitly remained silent. The room was eerily quiet. AIXI was the first to break the silence, I might have to go out for a while in the next period of time. The words just fell. Number 18 and number 21 looked over at the same time. Number 18 asked in confusion, what's wrong? AIXI smiled and said, nothing, just go and practice. Number 18 looked worried, why do you want to practice when you are fine? You are so amazing. AIXI shook her head, my fighting power has been stagnant for too long. It's definitely not going to work this way. There will be many powerful people in the future, and I must prepare for it. Hearing this, number 21 frowned and said, Master, are you worrying too much? She felt that it was understandable for her to become stronger. Because she is so weak, no one can beat her. But it doesn't make sense for AIXI to become stronger, right? Even the powerful Super Saiyan 3 Vegito could only tie with AIXI. Who in this universe can beat him? AIXI smiled and said, not really, it's just that the version is updating very quickly, and I can't just stand still. Look at you and Gohan now, which one of you isn't getting stronger every day? Well. Number 21 was speechless. It was indeed true. After a moment's hesitation, number 18 nodded seriously, then you must pay attention to safety. AIXI smiled and said, don't worry, don't you know me? After dinner, AIXI did not stop and immediately headed for Wampa Star. He came this month. I'm not idle either. Gogeta's template progress increased by another 5% due to his desperate training. The current progress has reached 70%. The combat power increased by 100 Jing on the spot, from 300 Jing to 400 Jing. He found out. In fact, as the percentage goes up, there is basically nothing else that can be added. Things like skills and forms are almost coming to an end. Now we are all increasing our combat power. Southern Milky Way. Wampa Star. Swish. A man with an upright posture, a majestic demeanor, a mysterious and powerful aura, and an endless and majestic aura came to the top of a mountain. The person who came was AIXI. AIXI looked around, and all she saw was wasteland, so she looked closer. There are potholes, broken walls, and ruins everywhere, and messy meteorites are deeply embedded in the earth and stand on the soil. Call. A gust of wind blew and blew AIXI's hair back. AIXI's expression remained unchanged, without any ripples. Look from a distance. At some point, strong winds blew up a lot of floating sand, forming fierce sand flows that severely eroded the ground, causing the landform to change drastically. The sky was dark with thunder and lightning, dark clouds covered the earth, and a few strong lightning bolts fell from time to time, boom. This doomsday-like scene came into view. Even AIXI couldn't help but sigh, thank goodness it was Broly who had the perseverance to survive. If it were him, he would probably be thinking about running away at any time. At this time, a figure came rushing from the sky at an extremely fast speed, rushing over in a hurry. I'm afraid I won't be able to see you if it's too late. AIXI raised her eyes and looked. The person who came was an old man dressed in shabby clothes. It's Paragus. Broly's father. He did not hide his breath. So after a while, Paragus was attracted over. Call out. Paragus gradually approached, then suddenly stopped, and looked at AIXI with excitement. Someone is coming. Someone is coming. Paragus looked excited, you are. AIXI. AIXI said lightly. OXI. After Paragus repeated the name several times, he confirmed that it was not someone he knew. He asked, "Where are you from?" AIXI said, Earth. Paragus frowned. "Which planet is this? How come I've never heard of it?" But he didn't dwell on this, instead he asked expectantly, "Don't dwell on this. How did you get here? Did you take the universe spaceship?" "No, I don't have a universe ship," AIXI said. Hearing this, Paragus was stunned and forced a smile. "Are you kidding?" "No kidding," AIXI said lightly. Hearing this, Paragus's face changed, looking as ugly as if he had eaten shit. "There is no universe ship," Paragus muttered, then looked around. Sure enough, not. The hope he had just risen was instantly shattered at this moment. Paragus narrowed his eyes slightly, "Then how did you get here?" AIXI said, "I came when I wanted to." Paragus. Paragus looked grim, "You don't need to take the universe spaceship." AIXI shook her head, "No need." Paragus's face turned as black as a piece of coal. He felt like he had been fooled. How to get here without a universe ship? But it's not good to have an attack directly. This is the first alien to appear in decades. Chapter 37. Paragus suppressed his anger and said, "Judging from your appearance, are you also a scion?" AIXI nodded, "Yes." Paragus looked surprised, "Is that really the case? Is King Vegeta still alive now?" He couldn't help but ask the question he wanted to know most. This person is the demon that has always lingered in his heart. He can't sleep unless King Vegeta is eliminated. AIXI said calmly, "They died a long time ago. Except for a few of the Scion race who survived, none of the others escaped Frisia's planet-destroying bomb." Voice. Paragus' pupils shrank and the expression on his face suddenly changed. He couldn't believe it. How is it possible? Scion is destroyed. King Vegeta is dead too. For a moment, Paragus had a complicated expression on his face. He didn't know whether to celebrate or feel sad. "There were so many things I wanted to say in my heart, but in the end they just turned into a sigh." "Why? Forget it, it's been so long." Paragus sighed. Afterwards, he came up with a kind look and chatted with AIXI in a casual manner. "I hope to leave a good impression on the other person. Take yourself out." AIXI, "Let me tell you, my son Broly is the legendary Super Saiyan who only appears once in 1,000 years. His fighting power is terrifyingly strong. Humph, that damned King Vegeta was jealous that my son's talent was higher than his son's. In order to prevent his son Vegeta from being suppressed, he exiled my son in the name of land reclamation." Paragus said with an annoyed look. During the process, AIXI just nodded, answering casually. Finally, the two of them chatted and came to the place where Paragus and Broly lived. Paragus smiled and asked, "By the way, why are you here?" AIXI said calmly, "Fight with your son." Hearing this, Paragus thought he had heard wrongly. Hallucinations occurred. "Are you okay? I don't mean to discourage you, but Broly's strength is extremely terrifying," Paragus said slowly. AIXI said, "It's okay, go call Broly over, I'll fight him, and if I win I'll take you away." Paragus paused, "Okay. This is what you wanted, so don't blame me when the time comes." Immediately, he shouted to the sky, "Broly!" The words just fell. Boom! Dozens of kilometers away, a man with a sturdy figure, bulging muscles, a strong and powerful aura, and an overwhelming sense of oppression looked over. His eyes were fierce, like a ferocious beast from heaven, carrying boundless pressure. Broly shot out at a speed so fast that it could not be captured by the naked eye. Just look at the sky and hear a sonic boom. In less than a second, Broly's figure arrived here. Broly had a ferocious look on his face, and the moment he saw AIXI, he rushed over without thinking. "No nonsense. Paragus calling him means the battle is about to begin." He saw the tall man with a strong aura rushing towards him. AIXI couldn't hide his excitement and stomped the ground with his right foot. The ground cracked instantly and turned into a semicircular pit. It also exploded and flew out. Boom! Wait! Paragus's expression changed and he was about to speak. But the two of them were already fighting. Bang! 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 In the sky, the two figures collided back and forth, and every punch and kick caused the wind and clouds to change and the space to shake. The collision of fists caused the earth to tremble and the sky to wail. Just 1 minute. They have fought for hundreds of rounds. The two men's fists collided again, like a spike against a spike. Stir up 1,000 storms. No surprise. AIXI's one-sided attack knocked Broly away. AIXI narrowed her eyes, what a lunatic. After this fight, he discovered that Broly had no martial arts skills at all. All by swinging near fists. The most important thing is that Broly knows he can't be right, but he still has to be right. Just tough. A life-threatening style of play. Hey 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 hey. Broly's breath surged, and he rushed over again with a roar. AIXI saw this and didn't tolerate it. The figure slid and flew out. He rushed forward and hit the opponent hard in the face. Bang! The punch was so powerful that Broly, who was sprinting, stopped instantly and was stunned for a moment. But soon, he reacted. Broly's face was ferocious, and he clenched his sandbag-sized fist tightly, and suddenly punched out with the strongest force. Bang! The fists collided again. Boom! The two fists were like a collision of asteroids, causing the entire Earth to begin to tremble violently. The wind is blowing hard and sand and stones are everywhere. AIXI looked slightly solemn. Broly's strength has begun to skyrocket. Although it is still difficult to defend against my random punch, the opponent has begun to learn how to relieve the force. Broly's arms felt numb and he looked at the other person in shock. This person is so strong. But soon, he was overwhelmed by anger. My father is in danger because of this person. How can I let it go? Ha 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 ha. The next moment, Broly clenched his fists, veins bulged in his brows, and his expression was ferocious. Roars came out from his throat. The sound resounded through the sky and shook the earth. Boom! I saw a yellow-green flame rising into the sky from his footsteps. The whole earth began to shake slightly. His aura surged rapidly at this moment. It was visible to the naked eye that Broly's muscles began to swell rapidly, and his originally normal body shape became much more powerful at this moment. AIXI's expression remained unchanged. This is Broly's unique angry form. It allows him to unleash the power of a giant ape while maintaining his human form. Broly's pupils were yellow and his breath was deep. The next breath, Broly stepped on the void and suddenly catapulted out. Boom! Like a beast from the abyss, it roared and rushed towards AIXI. It brings an invisible sense of boundless oppression. The speed was so fast that it caused a violent roar in the space. Bang! Broly quickly rushed in front of AIXI and then punched her hard. This punch, with a majestic aura of yellow and green, came towards AIXI with the force of a meteorite. P.S. Please give me some money, my dears. Chapter 38. Facing this powerful punch, AIXI's expression remained unchanged, without the slightest fear, and he punched out fiercely. It hit Broly's fist directly. Use overwhelming force to disperse the opponent's fist. Immediately following, he turned his body and kicked hard with his right foot. Bang! The kick was so powerful that it hit Broly's head hard. He directly knocked the opponent around. But soon, Broly roared and attacked again. Bang! 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 The two figures wrestled with each other again. Below, Paragus looked extremely shocked. Is this kid really that strong? I thought he was just bragging. Although he couldn't see the current situation clearly. But since he has been fighting with his son for such a long time, it can be judged that AIXI is quite strong. Sky. Time passes by every second. Bang! 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 The two figures collided violently again and then suddenly pulled apart. AIXI frowned slightly, it was just a moment. Broly's strength has increased to an alarming level. He didn't feel any pressure just now, but now he is obviously under some pressure. Not only is the opponent's combat power skyrocketing, but his combat experience is also increasing rapidly. He has changed his fighting style more than a dozen times by now. Not only did Broly learn all of them, he also beat him back. That's outrageous. But AIXI was not too panicked, but the corners of her mouth slightly raised. In that case, let's try a critical hit and maximize the attack speed. Immediately, AIXI silently turned on the critical strike and attack speed. I saw that on his hands, a red and green aura was lingering at some point. Call out. At this time, Broly rushed over again. AIXI smiled. Next, it's my sandbag show. Immediately, his figure also shot out, first dodging Broly's fierce punch by turning sideways. Then he leaned forward slightly, approaching Broly. Bang! There was only a dull crashing sound that echoed through the sky. AIXI's fist, with its incomparable aura, critical hit and attack speed, suddenly hit Broly's stomach. In an instant. Vomit! Broly's pupils widened, his body hunched, and he spat out a mouthful of sour water. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Why does this punch hurt so much? But soon, Broly was blinded by rage. Hateful! Been fighting for so long. He didn't see the other party being hurt. Right now. He was already a little anxious, but more of it was anger. Broly clenched his fists, ignoring the pain in his body, and punched hard. Hit AIXI directly. AIXI's expression remained unchanged, and with a red and green aura, he collided with the opponent's fist without hesitation. Bang! A moment. Broly's body suddenly retreated dozens of meters uncontrollably. AIXI smiled. Broly's combat power is still increasing a little slowly. It seems he needs to provoke the opponent. Immediately. AIXI said coldly, Broly, if you don't use your full strength, I will kill Paragus in front of you. The words just fell. Broly's pupil shrank, he had no doubt it was fake. You deserve to die. Broly spoke word by word, his eyes bloodshot, anger clouding his mind at this moment. Paragus couldn't sit still after seeing this scene. He trembled, Broly, that's enough, stop fighting. But as he spoke, he seemed to have thought of something and quickly took out the electric shock button. But just as I was about to press it, I looked up and discovered. Broly crushed the collar around his neck. Paragus' pupil shrank, and he suddenly felt weak all over and collapsed to the ground. It's over. Everything is over. Boom! As Broly roared, the entire earth began to shake and crumble. At this moment, the sky was also changing suddenly, with thunder and lightning pouring down. Puff! All I saw was the cracked earth, with balls of hot magma spurting out from the cracks. Buzz! Gold, black, blue and white, green. Several colors flash back and forth within a radius of several hundred kilometers around Broly. This is his aura. And Broly is in the center. Green jets of flames filled his surroundings, and a circular barrier enveloped him. Broly's hair, at this moment, from black to golden yellow. The muscles strengthened again, the pupils slowly disappeared, and the body became more than 3 meters tall. Like a giant humanoid beast. This moment, his aura experienced an unprecedented increase, and his combat effectiveness was manifested in an exaggerated form. And this? Still just a Super Saiyan. Chuan Chao, whose hair hasn't turned green yet. Below. AIXI's expression changed slightly, and he looked a little dignified. That's really exaggerated. Afterwards, AIXI stopped thinking about it, his eyes fixed, his fists clenched tightly, and a low roar came from his throat. H-A-A-A-ah! As AIXI's aura rose, a layer of sky blue ripples suddenly rose at his feet. Call out! I saw a layer of sky blue flame rising up from his feet. AIXI's hair and eyebrows also turned sky blue in an instant. Super Saiyan Blue. AIXI skipped the normal Super race and went straight to Super Blue. Although it is possible to beat ordinary Super Saiyans, it is not that easy. He still likes to crush the game. Hey 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 hey! At this time, Broly opened his hands wide and suddenly fired countless green energy bullets directly at AIXI. Facing these attacks, AIXI did not dodge at all. Let the other party hit you. Superficial. He stomped the ground with his right foot and flew out. Boom. The next breath. AIXI had already arrived in front of Broly, so fast that no one could react. Broly's expression paused, as if he realized something, and just lowered his head for a moment. Bang. Only a dull sound was heard. AIXI's fist, which was wrapped in red, green, and blue, hit his stomach fiercely. Deep in it. This punch. It was far more intense and painful than the punch just now. Broly looked fierce, and regardless of the pain, he punched AIXI hard. Bang! AIXI raised his left hand to block. Then, his right hand instantly produced a colorful sphere. Soul Judge. Without hesitation, AIXI suddenly pressed the Soul Punisher on Broly, boom. In an instant, a dazzling white light flashed. AIXI retreated again and again. There was a huge roar like thunder and Broly's whole body exploded. The smoke cleared. There were several traces of blood on Broly's body, and his aura was much weaker. It's really meat. AIXI's mouth twitched slightly. By now, he had already figured out Broly's fighting ability. Prepare to end the battle. If we fight again, the one with green hair will come out and then we will be unpredictable. As it stands, his Super Blue combat power is only slightly stronger than Broly's Super Saiyan. If the opponent becomes a Chuan Chao, we will definitely not be able to beat him. He pondered. A big reason why we can't beat him is the last 30% of Gogeta templates are all combat power. His current combat power is definitely less than 1/10 of Gogeta's. So, to be conservative. Quick decision. P.S. Please give me flowers and votes. Please give me flowers and votes. Chapter 39. Without the slightest hesitation, AIXI's figure catapulted out again and rushed forward. Before Broly could react, the fist wrapped in the three kinds of arrogance swung out like raindrops, hitting every inch of Broly's skin. Bang! 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 All I could hear was a series of dull crashing sounds coming from the air, so fast that there were sonic booms from each punch and the space was roaring. Ah! Broly howled in extreme pain. The opponent's fist seemed to contain some kind of magical power. Each punch is extremely fast and can hit his vital points directly, making him unable to resist. Of course, the most important thing is that the pain has increased several times. Even though he has strong resistance to blows, he can't bear it. As the saying goes, everyone has a temper. What about Broly? He couldn't bear being beaten like this all the time, so Broly gritted his teeth and roared, enduring the pain, and clenched his fists. The next moment, a dazzling green flame shot up into the sky. Broly took advantage of this and delivered a powerful punch, knocking AIXI out. Immediately. Boom! 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 Broly had a ferocious look on his face, his eyes were wide open, and his mouth was wide open. Let out a deafening roar. Ah! At this moment, Broly has no rationality at all. It's like a walking wild beast, without any worries, it only cares about destruction and venting its energy crazily. Boom! A deep green energy bomb condensed in front of his mouth, and the energy bomb exuded a faintly terrifying aura. Immediately he ejected it without thinking. The next breath, the green energy bullet that spewed out of his mouth gushed towards AIXI in front with a devastating blow. The energy bomb contained an incomparable aura, and the blazing light enveloped the heaven and earth. The surrounding air was distorted and vibrated because of this. Facing this devastating blow, AIXI looked calm. Slowly place your hands on your waist, forming a calyx shape. He whispered, finally, turtle, faction buzz. A blue light suddenly appeared in the center of his hands, and a sacred energy condensed out. At the same time, AIXI started running towards Broly. Gas. Boom. The green energy column passed by AIXI, and AIXI jumped high and rushed towards Broly. See the attack miss. Broly had a ferocious look on his face, and he roared, redirecting the energy in his mouth towards AIXI. Ah! He roared, his voice filling the sky and echoing throughout the earth. AIXI narrowed her eyes slightly, achievement. Boom. The green energy column approached AIXI at an extremely fast speed, call out. At this critical moment, AIXI slid gently and hung upside down to avoid Broly's explosive attack. At the same time, move closer to Broly. Wave. As soon as the words fell. Boom. AIXI shouted loudly, and suddenly poured out the final Kamehameha wave in her hand. It hit Broly directly. The energy column contained an extremely powerful energy, causing the space to be torn apart. Broly's pupils shrank and a trace of panic appeared on his face. But he had no way of reacting to this wave of close contact. The next moment, the terrifying blue energy, with its overwhelming force, enveloped Broly effortlessly. This time, every part of Broly's body was hit from all directions. Boom! A huge roar resounded through the sky. A mushroom cloud appeared, covering the sky and the sun. The earth is torn into pieces, the landform has changed drastically, and the space is shaking faintly. See this scene. Paragus felt as if someone was grabbing his heart, it was heartbreaking. He looked horrified. Broly. This moment, he started to panic. He was afraid that Broly would be beaten to death. He was afraid that he would have no one to rely on after Broly died. He was afraid that he would never be able to leave Wampa again. Time passes by every second. Call out. The thick smoke in the sky slowly began to dissipate, and gusts of hurricane force winds blew away the smoke around Broly, revealing his figure completely. AIXI looked from a distance. Broly's golden hair had turned black at some point, and his face was no longer as ferocious as before. His body was slightly bent and one of his hands was dislocated. He was weak and seriously injured. This is the final Kamehameha wave that contains AIXI's full strength. His white eyes had returned to their original state, and his chaotic and bloodthirsty brain had also been stunned. AIXI breathed a sigh of relief when she saw this. If you keep hitting me, I won't be able to play anymore. A player like Broly who is out of control and crazy but can improve his combat power at any time. It must be solved once and for all. There can't be any procrastination. Otherwise, if we continue to fight, the situation will be reversed. Below. Paragas's tense face suddenly relaxed when he saw this scene. Great, not dead. Without thinking any more, he quickly stood up and flew forward. And the sky. Broly was in a disheveled state, breathing weakly and gasping for air. Who? His eyes were fixed on AIXI in front of him, and fear was evident in his pupils. He was deeply shocked by AIXI's strength. This was definitely not someone he could defeat. Broly thought to himself after regaining his sanity. AIXI, stop hitting me, stop hitting me. We surrender and admit defeat. At this time, a hurried voice came. Paragas looked at AIXI and said quickly. Hearing this, AIXI's expression remained unchanged, she just nodded slightly. It's the default. Broly on the opposite side had an ugly look on his face. Give up? How could he possibly admit defeat? But now he was seriously injured and would surely lose if he continued to fight. Broly, stop fighting, we can't win. Paragas looked at Broly and sighed. I don't accept. Broly looked calm and spoke in a cold tone. Broly. Don't get carried away. We can't afford to mess with this guy. Paragas scolded in a low voice. Whispering sound. Broly stopped talking, his eyes still fixed on AIXI. He didn't enjoy the fight. He could feel that he still had a lot of strength that he hadn't fully utilized, but he was finished off by the opponent. Who can bear this? AIXI said calmly, are you dissatisfied? Broly nodded without hesitation, I don't agree. AIXI smiled and said, but you have to accept it even if you don't want to. How can you have time to grow in a life and death duel? Hearing this, Broly's face changed and he was unable to refute. This is indeed very true. If he's lucky enough to meet someone who's willing to keep fighting with him and wait for him to become stronger, then that's fine. But if he meets someone like AIXI, who won't wait for him to become stronger, he will be defeated halfway. No one cared when he cried out for justice. P.S. Please give me some money. Please give me some money. Chapter 40. Seeing Broly silent, AIXI didn't say anything else. Instead, he looked at Paragas and said, although you lost, I am in a good mood and will reluctantly take you away from here. Ah! Paragas originally looked distressed. But after hearing this, a look of joy suddenly appeared on his face. Paragas asked excitedly, really? Broly also frowned. Some doubts. Looks like he was used for gambling. But fortunately, there were no bad consequences. AIXI nodded, really. He was quite excited about the system upgrade. Having just defeated Broly, Gogeta's progress skyrocketed by 20%. The most ever. It soared directly from 70% to 90%. He hasn't looked at the various attributes carefully yet, but he can feel that his strength has undergone a drastic change. Now the words. If they fight again, he will be no less powerful than Broly. Even if the opponent becomes Chuan Chao, it will be of no avail. Totally beat. Paragas could no longer suppress the excitement on his face, and quickly pulled Broly and whispered, Broly, thank him quickly. Broly hesitated for a moment, but followed suit. So. The old and the young all said, thank you so much. AIXI said calmly, if you have anything else you want to do, go now. When you are done, hold on to me and I will take you away from here. Hearing this, the two looked at each other. They both saw a hint of emotion in each other's eyes. Are we going to part ways with this planet after living here for more than 10 years? The two of them felt inexplicably reluctant. Paragus asked, Broly, do you want anything else? Broly was stunned for a moment and then whispered, I want to say my final goodbye to Baya. Paragus said, sure, go and come back soon. Broly nodded and quickly flew off in one direction. AIXI didn't say much and just waited quietly. By the way, I took advantage of this free time to look at my current attributes. System, open the personal attribute template. Receive. As the system voice fell, a blue rectangular frame, in which only AIXI could be seen, appeared before their eyes. Host, AIXI Combat Power, 150 Guy Bloodline, Pure Blood Scion, Top, Skills, Flying Technique, Control of Chi, Big Bang Kamehameha Wave, Final Kamehameha Wave, Divine Punishment, Clone, Chi Egan, Soul Punisher, Main Template, Gogeta Super, Unlock Level, 90%, Subtemplate, Unknown, Unlocked, Backup Templates, Jebit, Satan, Tao Pai Pai, Supreme Kai Xin. Remaining, 4 template draw opportunities. Looking at the attributes this time, AIXI just felt extremely comfortable. So pleasing to the eyes. Especially the one about combat power, it simply made him drop his jaw. I didn't expect this 20% it can increase your combat power so much. It's confirmed. The further you go, the more combat power you gain. At this time, Broly's figure slowly flew over from a distance and then stopped in front of AIXI. Broly had a look of relief on his face. Apparently they had said their goodbyes properly. I saw that they were fully prepared and ready to go. AIXI didn't say anything more and let the two of them support her back. Immediately use instant transmission, swish. The next moment. Earth. Baizai Mountain. On a plane. AIXI and the other two have arrived here. Broly and Paragus looked around, their pupils filled with disbelief. Paragus was shocked and said, is this the planet you live on? The environment is too good. Broly exclaimed, it's so beautiful. AIXI nodded, yes, this is the Earth. Paragus exclaimed, this place is so suitable for living. It's even better than the Vegeta planet back then, right? After saying that, he looked at AIXI with surprise, can we live here in the future? AIXI nodded, okay, but you can't cause damage or dominate. Hearing this, Paragus nodded repeatedly, I know, how dare I? I just want to find a place to retire. Broly also nodded. He doesn't want anything, he just wants to live a stable life. AIXI nodded, and as if she had thought of something, she said, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you something. Paragus asked in confusion, what is it? Seeing the two of them looking at each other. On this planet live the two people you hate the most. AIXI smiled. He had almost forgotten about it. Paragus hates King Vegeta, so naturally he will take his anger out on Vegeta, that's for sure. The reason why Broly hates Son Goku is simple. When he was a child, he couldn't sleep because of Son Goku's crying, and he remembered it for the rest of his life. What do you hate the most? The two were very confused. Which two? Kakarot and Vegeta. The words fell, the two of them changed their expressions at the same time. Paragus looked grim, Vegeta? I see. He's King Vegeta's son, right? Vegeta the fourth. I didn't expect he's still alive. AIXI nodded, yes. An aside. Broly's face was gloomy, and he murmured softly, Kakarot, Kakarot. Seeing the two of them like this, AIXI said, I won't ask about your grudges. You can beat them anytime, anywhere, and in any way you want. But you must keep one of them alive. Paragus looked grim, but AIXI interrupted him and said calmly, if you can't accept it, go back. Hearing this, no matter how reluctant Paragus was, he had to compromise, I understand. Broly didn't react much, as long as he could beat Kakarot anytime and anywhere, he was already satisfied. And at this time, speak of Cao and he will appear. Several people were at the back of Baizai Mountain. Naturally, he couldn't escape Son Goku's attention. His figure slowly flew over, waving his arms and smiling, AIXI, why are you here? Paragus's eyes narrowed, what is that? He looks a lot like a lower-level scion, and also a lot like Bardock. Could he be Bardock's son? And Broly stared at Son Goku intently, Kakarot. Son Goku slowly descended and walked straight towards AIXI. At the same time, he looked at Paragus and Broly with curiosity. AIXI, who are they? Completely unaware of the hostility coming his way, he still asked with a smile. AIXI said calmly, Paragus and Broly. Son Goku nodded and smiled, I see. Hello, I'm Son Goku. But no one paid any attention to him. Kakarot. At this moment, Son Goku could clearly feel that he was being stared at with malicious eyes. Son Goku looked at Broly with a serious expression, this guy is so strong. But what he couldn't understand was why this person was so hostile towards him. AIXI looked at the tense situation and explained to Son Goku. After knowing the reason, Son Goku couldn't help but scratch his head. Is your name Broly? I'm so sorry, I can't control what happened when I was a kid. Broly was stunned. He didn't expect the other party to apologize so decisively. He didn't know what to do for a moment. Say what? There is no reason to be angry anymore. P.S. Please give me some money. There will be 2 more chapters later. Chapter 41. Broly hesitated for a moment, then nodded. I see that the other person is easy to talk to. Son Goku smiled and said, since you were brought to Earth by AIXI, we will have to meet more often in the future. I have been living on Earth. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Broly hesitated for a moment and nodded, okay. Son Goku continued, and everyone is Scion, how harmonious they can live together. They both. The two were silent for a moment and nodded. Although he is very hostile to Vegeta and Kakarot, they are very friendly and are also friends with AIXI. Never mind. I won't be so fussy about it. Son Goku saw this and smiled at Broly, by the way, Broly, can I spar with you? Can. Broly nodded. That was just right. He also wanted to beat up Kakarot. And it was the other party who took the initiative to bring it up. He couldn't be happier. After some communication, the relationship between the few people has also improved a lot. It wasn't a life and death situation from the beginning. Certainly. This is thanks to AIXI's interference as a middleman. After settling Broly and Paragus, AIXI turned around and walked in one direction. Go home. Sato. The next day. The sun has just risen, and the bright sunshine is shining on the earth. Today was the same as usual, AIXI got up first, followed by the 18th, and finally the 21st. Number 21 came down slowly from upstairs, half asleep. Morning. Morning. What's wrong with you? Why are you so weak? AIXI looked at number 21 jokingly. Number 21 blushed and said calmly, no, maybe I studied too late the other day. AIXI didn't expose her, but said with concern, then you should take care of your health. Number 21. If she wasn't so gentle, I would have started to criticize her long ago. How tiring can it be to study? It's all because of you. Number 21 glanced at AIXI with a resentful look. That night, she couldn't resist her curiosity and took a sneak peek while going to the toilet. As a result, I couldn't sleep all night. Become a water baby. She looked at number 18 who was busy in the kitchen with a strange expression. Normally, I see number 18 as something serious, but why is it that today I see it so? Is that kind of thing really that comfortable? Number 21 couldn't help but feel curious. At this time, the graceful figure of number 18 slowly walked out of the kitchen. She looked at AIXI and number 21, opened her lips and said, we are running out of seasonings at home, who of you can go shopping? And buy some fruits, vegetables, meat and daily necessities. And she finished her words. Almost at the same time, AIXI and number 21 spoke up. I'll go. Okay, since you all want to go, let's go together. Number 18 was stunned for a moment, then smiled and went into the kitchen again. Original place. Number 21 blushed slightly, she now saw AIXI. I can't help but think of the scene from yesterday. Move your gaze downward. Number 21 was inexplicably shocked, and at the same time admired number 18 very much. Such a horrible thing. What are you looking at? AIXI said with a smile. Number 21 quickly shook her head, her face turning even redder, nothing. What on earth am I doing? The two of them slowly walked out of the house. Arriving in the yard, AIXI walked straight towards a brightly colored, exquisitely designed, and perfectly parked maglev car. There is a logo printed on it, Bulma Capsule Company. AIXI sighed, Bulma's family is really everywhere. You can see her things everywhere. There are many richest people on earth, and Bulma's family is one of them. Number 21 stepped forward, took a look at the car, and said crisply, this is just an ordinary magnetic levitation car, what's so magical about it? You want me to build you a universe aircraft carrier? AIXI turned her head and looked, is it true? Number 21 smiled softly, why would I lie to you? This is the most basic stuff, it couldn't be simpler. AIXI has no doubt that number 21 has strong scientific attainments. You are amazing. You are worthy of being my apprentice. Hearing this, number 21 raised the corners of her mouth, with a hint of pride on her pretty face. Immediately, they opened the car door and got in. Although you can use flying technique to quickly reach your destination and buy things. But AIXI doesn't want this. He thought it was too hasty, like a fight, and that life should be at a slower pace. That's why he bought the car. Buzz. Start a fire, shift gears, release the brake, and step on the accelerator. All in one go. Boom. With a roar, the car took off at a speed comparable to that of a fighter jet, leaving behind a series of sonic booms. Number 21, who was sitting next to AIXI in the passenger seat, was wearing a very charming outfit today. She wore a black dress on the upper body and ultra-thin black stockings on the lower body. The ultra-thin black stockings make her legs look longer and slender. AIXI glanced sideways, these legs are so long. There was no sound inside the car except the sound of the wind. Neither of them spoke. Number 21 was the first to break the silence. Do you want to touch it? She looked calm, but the corners of her mouth curled up. Hey hey! I finally got the upper hand. Let you two torture me every day. The time for revenge has come. AIXI was stunned, then smiled, and said, how did you know? Number 21. Number 21 was stunned, her pretty face showing surprise, why not play by the rules? Shouldn't you refuse and say you don't dare to watch it anymore? Seeing the faint smile on AIXI's lips, number 21 said angrily, try it if you dare. She firmly believed that AIXI would not dare to do so. But who is AIXI? Threaten me? AIXI raised her eyebrows, touched No 21's thigh and pinched it. Well, it feels soft and delicate to the touch, and it looks extremely smooth wrapped in black stockings, and the touch is perfect. But he only gave it 9 out of 10. No black silk. Although it looks good, it is not skin friendly. No 21's pupils shrank and her pretty face was filled with shock. You really touched it. She was about to explode, but suddenly she dodged. What are you doing? Number 21 blushed and quickly held AIXI's hand, preventing her from moving. AIXI smiled and said, oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention while driving. Number 21 blushed but did not refute. What a strange feeling. Number 21 doesn't dare to speak, AIXI really dares to come. At this moment, No 21's cool and pretty face was blushing, and her shyness made her look beautiful in a different way. AIXI saw that the other party did not push her hand away, but just held it. So I simply didn't take it back. I love touching. It was not until they arrived at the shopping mall that AIXI left No 21's long legs with a sense of reluctance. Number 21 looked relieved. It's finally over. Never provoke him again next time. Number 21 looked resentful, you are so mean. What's broken? You said you dare to touch it, so try it. AIXI smiled. Number 21. All right. She couldn't refute it. No, you can refute it. But she was too embarrassed to speak up, it was too embarrassing. P.S. Please give me some money. Chapter 42. The two entered the mall, and their outstanding appearance and strong aura made the turning heads rate as high as 100%. After purchasing the necessary items, AIXI and number 21 walked out with large and small bags of things. AIXI looked at number 21 and smiled, do you want to eat something? Number 21 hesitated for a moment and said, Fuku sushi. Okay, put the stuff in the capsule. AIXI took out a universal capsule and put everything in it. Bang! After a sound of white smoke, the universal capsule stored all the belongings of the two people. Just when the two were about to go to the next stop to buy Fuku sushi, a short and fat figure appeared in front of the two. This man was extremely fat, wearing a suit, and looked like a human. And her hair is so long that it completely covers her eyes. The aura brings a gloomy feeling. Hello, miss, may I invite you to join one of our crew shoots? I can offer you a very high reward. AIXI raised her brows slightly and looked down at the figure in front of her. His face couldn't be seen clearly. He was short and had a mean look on his face. The amount of oil extracted from his body might be enough to allow his hovercraft to circle the earth back and forth. Very good. It fits his stereotype of Minotaur and Bookman in his previous life. He doesn't understand. I have come to the Dragon Ball world. This kind of thing will happen again. Besides, I'm such an awesome guy standing here, how dare you come up here? Who dares your courage? AIXI stopped number 21 and said calmly, get lost. Hearing this, the man was stunned for a moment, then sneered, Sir, you are this lady's lover, right? You don't want your lady to miss such a good opportunity, do you? AIXI. At this time, a few people appeared from nowhere, stood behind the man with ferocious looks, and cheered him on. Boss, I think he should just be tied up. Yes, this kid is not flattering me, I will teach him a lesson. Break his legs right away. Several of his younger brothers said viciously. Passers-by stopped to watch. Number 21 looked indifferent, AIXI, I will take them. AIXI stopped her, with the corners of her mouth slightly raised. No, just watch me. The words fell. AIXI's body was suddenly filled with a tremendous aura, and 150 guys' majestic aura gushed out, pervading the heaven and earth. Fall from the sky. Boom. The entire earth was torn into pieces, and the people in front of him instantly turned into a ball of blood mist and dissipated between heaven and earth. Murder! Murder! The scene suddenly became a mess, with countless people running away in panic, shouting for help. After destroying them all, AIXI was still a little unhappy. Then he looked at number 21 and smiled, wait for me, I'll be back soon. Number 21 hesitated for a moment and nodded, yes swish. Underworld. The Hall of Hell. The King of Hell looked at the new batch of notebooks in front of him and sighed repeatedly, it's so tiring. I've been working all year round and I don't know when it will end. Master, here come a bunch of freshly dead people. They died so miserably that their bodies are gone. At this time, a little devil ran in and said. The King of Hell frowned, the body is gone. Cremated. The kid shook his head, it's not cremation, there are no ashes. The King of Hell was slightly shocked, such a tragic death? Could it be that Son Goku and the others have enemies again? Yes. Only when terrifying enemies appear on Son Goku's side will people with miserable deaths come to his side. No, I don't want to work overtime. However. Next second. A figure appeared in front of him. OXI. The King of Hell was startled, raised his eyebrows, and said with a smile, how come you have time to come to me? AIXI smiled and said, I killed a few people and came to ask you for it. Hearing this, combined with what the little ghost said just now, he suddenly realized, oh, so those people who didn't have physical bodies were killed by you. What happened? Did you kill them so cruelly? The King of Hell wondered. Since AIXI can play with Son Goku, he must not be a bad person. Plus, I helped him resolve the evil thoughts last time. He believes that AIXI is definitely not a person who kills innocent people indiscriminately. Just a few scumbags who wanted to dominate and kill the people who kidnapped me. I killed them. When the King of Hell heard this, he immediately said with disgust, is that so? Such a person really deserves to die. Then do as you please. I'll give him to you. After saying that, he told a few kids to take AIXI to find someone. Come with me. The little ghost said respectfully. This is someone that even the master respects, he dare not neglect him. AIXI followed the little ghost and came to a soul storage room. This includes all the dead people in the world. After they have been screened, they will line up to go to the King of Hell, and after the King of Hell's approval, they will be sent to hell or heaven. After a while, AIXI saw several familiar figures. Since they had just come down from the human world, their physical bodies had not yet been destroyed and they were still in the same state as before. Several people were cursing and swearing. Crazy regards AIXI. At this time. But they saw someone they would never forget. Boss, you, look. One of the younger brothers pointed at AIXI with a horrified look on his face. You're so flustered and not manly at all. What's wrong? The wretched man cursed a few times and looked up. I was so scared that I trembled all over. Am I hallucinating? Am I not dead? How can I see you again? He pointed at AIXI with a horrified look on his face, and a pool of urine flowed out. Haha, we meet again. AIXI smiled. Are you a human or a ghost? AIXI said calmly, I'm here to tell you one thing, if you offend the wrong person, the consequences will be terrible, Buzz. He waved his right hand, and a 7-colored ball appeared in his palm. Soul Judge. AIXI raised his hand and threw it out. Boom. With a loud bang, the figures of several people disappeared instantly. Turn into nothingness. Hiss. Everyone present, no, the ghosts all gasped. What a scary person. So scary. Chase him to the underworld and kill him. Facts have proved that we should not go too far. Being a ghost too. The ghosts realized this truth. P.S. Please give me money. Please please. Chapter 43. After dealing with these scumbags, AIXI instantly transmitted back to the human world. Original place. Number 21 quietly waits for AIXI's arrival. Swish. Number 21 smiled and said, You're back. AIXI nodded, Yes, I will go and kill them in Hades again. Number 21 was stunned for a moment, then asked in surprise, Kill again? AIXI nodded and said as a matter of course, Yes, if you want to touch my people, then go to hell. Number 21. My people? Number 21 blushed slightly. She didn't know how many times AIXI had touched her heart. But she didn't hate the feeling. Number 21 coughed twice, ahem, okay, let's go home quickly and don't let number 18 wait too long. AIXI nodded, it had indeed been quite a while since she came out. Immediately. The two got on the maglev car and were about to start a fire when they saw a blue maglev car speeding towards them from afar. The car was moving very fast, and in a flash, it arrived in front of AIXI's car. See this scene? AIXI immediately formed a barrier with Chi in front of the car to protect it from harm. Bang! There was a heavy crash and a scream like thunder. Ah! Go down and take a look. The car opposite had fallen apart and deflated into a ball. The air cushion popped out from the driver's seat, protecting a figure intactly. AIXI was stunned when she saw the people in the cockpit. Bulma! Crack! He pulled the car door open, freeing Bulma. Bulma quickly climbed out and breathed a sigh of relief, phew. I was scared to death. Only then did she look at the two people who had saved her. AIXI? Number 21. Bulma was stunned, then exclaimed. She didn't have much contact with AIXI, but she still knew AIXI's legendary story. This is Vegeta's lifelong enemy. As for the 21st, I also heard about it. It is said that this person's scientific attainments are as good as mine, but I don't know if it's true or not. Why are you driving so fast? AIXI looked at Bulma and asked. Bulma is still very beautiful and full of charm. But unfortunately, Vegeta already exists. Bulma laughed, Ahaha, no, I had something urgent to deal with, sorry. Then, she thought of something and spoke quickly. By the way, it's my birthday next week, can you guys come? Birthday? AIXI raised her eyebrows slightly. He always had a bad feeling. Could it be Beerus? His arrival caused a butterfly effect among the enemies of this world. All in advance. AIXI nodded, we will come. 3QS, I'll be leaving first then. Bulma smiled, then slowly took out a universal capsule from her hand, pressed it lightly, and threw it on the ground. Bang! A brand new jet came into view. Bulma got on the plane, and after some operations, it took off suddenly. Upon seeing this, AIXI got into the car with number 21 and went home on fire. That night, after taking a shower, number 18 put on a bathrobe, revealing her fair skin, and walked out of the bathroom slowly with her jade feet. The steaming hot food makes your blood boil. AIXI was lying on the bed and saw number 18 coming out of the bath. It's a delight. But I heard something extremely cruel. AIXI, I'm sorry, I have my period today. AIXI. Number 18 had a cold expression and smiled, you won't be angry about this, right? AIXI was helpless, go to bed early. Number 18 smiled softly and whispered in his ear. Then AIXI nodded. Number 18 crawled into bed. After a long time, Gurgle number 18 wiped the white from the corners of his mouth and rubbed his sore cheeks. Can I go to sleep now? AIXI smiled and touched her head. Thank you for your hard work, go to sleep. Number 18 nodded and fell asleep while holding AIXI. For a long time. Next door. There was a blush on No 21's pretty face, her clothes were disheveled, and she was breathing heavily. He looked a little puzzled. Why is there no movement today? She tiptoed out of bed and walked quietly to the door of AIXI's room. Then he gently pulled down the door handle, revealing a gap. Black. There is no light. What's going on? It's only what time now? Don't you usually work overtime? Number 21 widened the gap in the door and carefully put his upper body in. Are you asleep? Seeing the two people lying motionless on the bed, Number 21 said regretfully. Then she sighed softly and slowly turned her head back. After closing the door, he walked towards his room. But just then, a teasing voice sounded. What are you doing sneaking into my room so late at night? Hearing the voice, Number 21 trembled, but did not turn around, but slowly closed her eyes. Completion. Ruined. AIXI smiled and said, do you want to be a traitor to your master? The corner of No 21's mouth twitched slightly, and he slowly turned around. You are the one who wants to be a disciple and rebel against the master, right? AIXI looked at Number 21. At this moment, Number 21 was wearing thin clothes, only a silk purple pajamas, which completely revealed her white, crystal clear, plump, and long legs. AIXI opened her lips slightly. Yes. Number 21 trembled and said slowly, what about number 18? AIXI said seriously, I'll tell her. No 21's eyebrows trembled slightly, and he didn't say anything, but just nodded slightly. Seeing this, AIXI smiled, walked quickly forward, and gently picked up No 21's soft body. A warm feeling came over her, accompanied by a captivating fragrance, and AIXI held her and slowly entered room 21. Soon, a battle between the captain and the miners began. AIXI relied on his superb driving skills to fire bullets crazily and attack miner number 21. Relying on his excellent mining experience, number 21 dug through the mine and avoided attacks. But this is not a long-term solution after all. AIXI threw a huge missile and directly blew up the miner base. The next day, I got up very early today on the 18th. After stretching, there was no familiar figure around me. Every time on the 18th, which day did AIXI not get up early? After going downstairs, she saw AIXI as expected. Good morning. After greeting him with a smile, she asked curiously, are you still sleeping in on the 21st? I didn't do anything today. She was a little confused. AIXI smiled and said, she is exhausted. Let her have a good rest. Number 18 nodded and gave up the idea of calling number 21. For AIXI's words, I didn't take it seriously. Are you not tired on the 21st? After eating and drinking, AIXI told number 18 that Bulma had invited her to her birthday party yesterday. Number 18 smiled and said he would go and take a look. That's all. A week passed slowly. This week, he went back and forth between number 18 and number 21. To be honest, if it weren't for the kidney strengthening method, he really wouldn't be able to bear it. This day, AIXI stayed with number 18 in the first half of the night and number 21 in the second half. Get up again in the morning to make breakfast. So no one could detect the accident. But AIXI is tired of it. Grass. He hardly sleeps at night and relies entirely on sleep during the day. Although Sion's physique allows him to hold on even without sleep. But this will eventually damage your spirit. So AIXI decided. Must find an opportunity. Unite the front. Otherwise it would be too much trouble for him. P.S. Please give me money and votes. Please. Money and flowers. Chapter 44. Today is Bulma's birthday. AIXI was wearing a black martial arts uniform with a white belt around her waist. In his wardrobe, apart from some daily wear, the remaining martial arts uniforms are either pure black or pure white. He likes these two colors very much. Number 18 and number 21 next to me. They were all wearing casual clothes, without any seductive clothing. But the unique charm still cannot be concealed. The three of them left the apartment and headed towards the location given by Bulma. It's on the sea. Bulma spent a huge amount of money to purchase a giant cruise ship and hired top chefs from all over the world to open a food street. Soon, AIXI and two others arrived on the cruise ship. AIXI looked around. Almost everyone I know is there. Krillin, Yamcha, Tien Shinyan, Master Roshi, Oolong, Vegeta, Majin Buu and many more. Even Broly and Paragus were there. The two were a little overwhelmed and followed behind Son Gohan. It must have been brought by Son Goku. But Son Goku was nowhere to be seen. But no one cared. Son Goku is never late? Klin and his group came up with smiles on their faces. Vegeta leaned against the tree, glanced at AIXI, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. What is striking is, there is a tail behind him. Vegeta did not move forward like the others, but quietly leaned against the wall to rest. When Son Gohan saw AIXI, he said excitedly, Master's wife, you are here. As soon as the words fell, Son Gohan saw three people nod at the same time. Son Gohan looked confused. After taking a look at number 21, why are you nodding? But he didn't ask. Kellen on the side joked, AIXI, you married too. Yamcha also smiled obscenely, hehe, you are half as good as Master Yamcha was back then. AIXI smiled but said nothing. Neither admit nor deny. Is the best answer. After a while, with Bulma's speech, the birthday party officially began. Everyone on the cruise ship was suddenly surrounded by a lively and peaceful atmosphere. But just then, a tiny spaceship slowly emerged in the sky. Then slowly landed. The spacecraft landed steadily on the cruise ship. Everyone looked forward quickly. This is Universal Capsule. Bulma exclaimed. Of course she is familiar with her own company's logo, bang. I saw the tiny universe spaceship slowly opening a door. Everyone's expression changed. Watching this scene in silence and holding your breath. AIXI also raised her eyebrows slightly. Who is this? Hey! A graceful figure jumped out from the spaceship. That's a woman. The girl is dressed fashionably in a casual bodysuit that highlights her youthfulness and fashion. She has long yellow hair that falls naturally, looking fresh and natural. She wore a colorful hat on her head, which added a bit of playfulness to her. Everyone looked confused. Who is this? But in the crowd, Bulma, however, looked delighted, sister. Elder sister. Everyone was shocked. How come I've never heard that Bulma has a sister? AIXI looked at the energetic girl in front of her and also recalled it. This is Thais, Bulma's sister. A science fiction writer who usually likes to travel around to find inspiration. These characters rarely appear in the original work. I didn't expect to run into him. Thais looked around and fixed her eyes on Bulma. Long time no see, Bulma. Sister, why haven't you come back for so many years? Bulma scolded. Thais smiled awkwardly, then said, won't you introduce your friends to me? Bulma nodded and introduced everyone in turn. Thais nodded repeatedly, hello, everyone. Bulma asked in confusion, sister, did something happen when you came back this time? Bulma knew Thais very well, and she would never come back unless something serious happened. But why did he suddenly come back now? Thais sighed. Something did happen. Then, Thais explained to everyone the horrific incident she encountered while filming in Universe. It turned out that when Thais was traveling to some planets on the edge of the northern Milky Way to shoot, she met a group of extremely terrifying people. They had a fight. Then the entire galaxy was destroyed. Hiss! Someone gasped. Krillin looked solemn, an entire galaxy was destroyed. Bulma looked flustered, and then, Thais continued, I passed by there on the Universe spaceship and happened to see them fighting. I didn't dare to stay for a moment and ran away directly. Later, after investigation by Jake and the Galactic Patrol, they discovered that among those who fought, only one person survived. His name was Reg. The words just fell. AIXI's expression changed. Reg? Everyone looked confused. Vegeta frowned, feeling that it had something to do with him. Noticed the change in AIXI's expression. Number 21 stared at AIXI and said softly, AIXI, what's wrong with you? You know him. AIXI remained silent and just nodded slightly. He thought of the setback he encountered last time. He also suspected that it was Angel Myers, an intern of the Galactic Patrol, but that was obviously impossible. Mel's strength is at the Angel level at the weakest. How can he stop time? Not to mention a few seconds. So, the person I stopped last time was actually Reg? AIXI didn't know much about Reg. All we know is that he is Vegeta's brother, and his combat power was as high as 50,000 when he was born. Even more amazing than Broly's super bloodline. But what puzzled him was how such a thing could appear. Aren't you in the super universe? How could people from GT time and space appear? He was really a little confused. AIXI looked at Taisai and said, if nothing unexpected happened, you were able to escape. It must be that the other party intended to spare your life. Otherwise, you would definitely not be able to escape. What? Vegeta's sixth sense always feels like it has a lot to do with himself. So he stepped forward, frowned and said, AIXI, who is this person? AIXI didn't hide it from them. Scion Reg, your brother, had a combat power of 50,000 when he was born. King Vegeta was afraid that he could not control him, so he wanted to kill him to prevent future troubles. But at that time, Frieza happened to destroy planet Vegeta. He took advantage of the chaos and boarded the universe spaceship, sailing away from there and going to the edge of the universe. Similar to what happened to Broly, but he was a little worse. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Paragus was even more shocked. I was born with a combat power of 50,000. AIXI, are you kidding me? Next to him is Chuan Chao, the once in a millennium Broly. It's only 10,000. P.S. Please give me some votes. Chapter 45. AIXI's words shocked everyone unprecedentedly. Being born with a combat power of 50,000 is truly unheard of. Vegeta was even more unbelievable. His lips trembled and shook, and his expression was full of shock. I didn't expect that it was really related to him. Scion Reg was actually his biological brother. Why has he never heard of this person? Vegeta suppressed the shock in his heart, took a deep breath and spoke slowly. I know King Vegeta's temper well. This is something he would do. Vegeta knew his own father very well. He doesn't have invincible strength, but he wants power that is above everyone else and below everyone else. I am always worried and afraid of being deprived of power. To the point that I always have wild thoughts and become suspicious of others. Paragus nodded in approval. Indeed, King Vegeta is a petty, incompetent and nagging person. When it comes to King Vegeta, he has a lot to say. He didn't care if Vegeta was angry or not, and just expressed his opinion directly. What's the harm in being angry? I have Broly. After saying this, he looked at Vegeta with admiration in his eyes and smiled. I didn't expect you to be so fair. I thought you would favor your father. You're much better than your father. Vegeta. Veins bulged on Vegeta's forehead, and it looked like I'm angry was written all over his face. But he still suppressed his anger, snorted coldly, and did not lose his temper. At the moment, he wanted to know more about Reg. Be patient, or you will suffer the consequences later. Piccolo paused for a moment and said, I think we should be careful. Klin was stunned. Hey? Piccolo, what does it have to do with us? Everyone looked at Piccolo with confusion. Piccolo hesitated for a moment and then expressed his opinion. Reg was suspected by King Vegeta in his childhood. He was first targeted and suppressed, and then almost killed. Not only did he not enjoy the rights that a prince should have, but he also spent a miserable childhood on the run. I think there is a high probability that he will bear a grudge against King Vegeta. He paused, his eyes fixed slightly. But King Vegeta and planet Vegeta were destroyed. He has no way to vent his anger, so he is likely to turn his attention to innocent people. Klin asked in confusion, what do you mean? Piccolo looked at Vegeta and narrowed his eyes. It's simple. Vegeta has enjoyed the treatment that should have belonged to him. If he finds out that Vegeta is still alive, he will probably be angry with Vegeta. The words fell. Everyone suddenly realized. Bulma frowned, so, he will seek revenge on Vegeta. Piccolo nodded, it's possible. Klin frowned, Piccolo, your statement is too extreme. They are brothers, and they haven't seen each other for so many years. Shouldn't their eyes be filled with tears? Yamcha nodded, indeed, we are brothers after all. Piccolo did shake his head and snorted, foolish, the Scion race is inherently bloodthirsty and ruthless, Don't think everyone is like Goku, Vegeta, and AIXI. And even Vegeta was transformed. Have you forgotten how you were beaten by Vegeta back then? Vegeta. I heard that old things were being brought up. Vegeta frowned, clenched his fists, and snorted coldly, Namek people, I never said that I am in the same group with you. I didn't kill you just because I didn't want to. If I don't like you one day, I will kill you all, bang. A dull thud rang out. Bulma put her hands on her hips and scolded, Vegeta, can you please speak properly? Vegeta. Vegeta's brows were bulging with veins, and he roared, what do you want, BCH? The momentum is very strong and the sound is huge. But Bulma didn't take it seriously at all. She crossed her arms and rolled her eyes, do it if you can. Vegeta's eyes twitched and he was shaking with anger, but he didn't say anything. Instead, he slowly crossed his arms and closed his eyes, I won't argue with a woman like you who has no sense. See this scene. Paragus was amazed, the dignified Prince Scion was taught a lesson by a woman. He is indeed the offspring of King Vegeta. Like father, like son. Vegeta couldn't bear it anymore. He was so angry that his teeth were itching. He clenched his fists and instantly turned into a Super Saiyan. Golden flames rose into the sky, and a majestic aura gushed out. A whole, stinky old man, I really gave you face. I think you are really tired of living and want to die. Vegeta shouted through gritted teeth. Paragus's expression changed and he quickly shouted, Broly. Seeing this, Broly's expression froze. He came in front of Paragus with a whoosh and got ready for a battle. A tremendous amount of energy gushed out. In an instant, his terrifying aura filled the air. That aura of Vegeta disappeared in an instant. Vegeta was startled, but not afraid at all. The two looked at each other and were about to start fighting. Everyone's expression changed. Son Gohan looked at AIXI, Master, do you want to stop me? AIXI said calmly, I'll come. As he spoke, a figure walked between the two of them. AIXI said helplessly, let's talk about Rig's matter first, if you two want to fight, you can do it later. Vegeta snorted coldly, AIXI, get out of the way. This stinky old man is provoking me again and again. I must kill him today. AIXI looked at Paragus and said calmly, just like what you said about King Vegeta, if you don't have the strength, shut up, or I will beat you too. Paragus's expression changed and he nodded quickly, I know. I won't dare to do it again. I won't dare to do it again. AIXI looked at Broly again, now that you are not controlled by your father, don't listen to him in everything. Educate him more. Broly was stunned for a moment, then nodded, okay. Paragus. Everyone. Hearing AIXI's words, everyone couldn't hold back their excitement. Son educating father? Interesting. When Vegeta saw AIXI come out, he didn't know what to say. He snorted coldly and stopped talking. But the feud has been established. He must beat up Paragus and let him know why I can be a prince and you can only be a subject. Seeing that the few people calmed down, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. AIXI said, Piccolo is right, we should be careful of Reg. After saying that, AIXI looked at Taisai again. Besides these, do you know anything else? When Taisai heard AIXI asking her, she quickly said, no more. I was just a little scared, so I thought about coming back to avoid the limelight. AIXI nodded, this information is very useful, thanks to you. But if Reg notices us, there's still a high chance that he'll be lured here. Taisai's pretty face turned pale instantly. After hearing everyone's discussion just now, she had already deeply realized how terrifying this Reg was. Didn't expect that the other party might follow her? The fat is in the fire. P.S. Thank you for the flowers and votes. Chapter 46. Taisai's pretty face turned pale, have I caused you trouble? If I had known, I should have hidden in the universe for a while. Bulma quickly stepped forward to comfort her, don't worry, sis. My friends are very strong. Everyone came forward to comfort him. Krillin smiled proudly and said, don't worry, any one of us can handle him. Taisai raised her eyebrows slightly, hesitated for a moment and said, it's not that I don't believe you, but I always feel that you are unreliable. Krillin. Ha ha ha, I meant AIXI, Goku and the others, not me. Krillin scratched his head and smiled awkwardly. I want to pretend to be cool but I haven't succeeded yet. Yamcha chuckled, yeah, you don't know how strong AIXI is. Sun Gohan also laughed and said, I have yet to see the master's limit. I heard everyone say AIXI. Taisai couldn't help but look at AIXI. He was wearing a black martial arts uniform, looking extremely handsome, with an upright posture, a calm face and eyes as calm as water. The aura around him is deep and mysterious. So handsome. It fits her stereotype of a strong person. Next time I choose AIXI as the male lead. Taisai's affection for AIXI grew rapidly, and she didn't notice the two strange eyes staring at her. Everyone has a mysterious confidence in AIXI's ability. More confident than AIXI herself. After a few words and a laugh, he changed the subject and stopped taking Reg seriously. AIXI's mouth twitched slightly. I didn't even say I was invincible. You are putting such a big hat on me. He still holds a cautious and rigorous attitude towards Reg's strength. After all, the opponent can reach the legendary Super 5. This enemy must not be underestimated. Vegeta also had the same idea as him. Vegeta frowned and snorted, a bunch of idiots. The normal combat power at birth is 50,000. Just think about how outrageous this is. Everyone is so confident in AIXI, don't let yourself get humiliated later. Aside. Paragus said softly to Broly. Broly, do you think this Reg can beat you? Broly frowned slightly, I don't know. Paragus smiled faintly, I don't think so. What do you mean he has 50,000 combat power at birth? That's too fake. If he says that, then isn't Reg's bloodline stronger than your Chuan Chao? Broly said nothing. Paragus continued, since ancient times, the most widespread and powerful bloodline among the Scions has only been the Chao bloodline. How could there be so many other messes? I think, if that Reg really comes, Broly, you should step forward and kill him in seconds. In this way, AIXI will look at us with new eyes, and then we will have a say. Otherwise, AIXI will always favor others. Hearing this, Broly frowned slightly, but he didn't think AIXI was lying. The strong disdain to tell lies. If it is not a lie, then having a combat power of 50,000 at birth is indeed much more outrageous than his 10,000. But this doesn't mean he is afraid of Reg. He still really wants to fight with Reg. Not for any other reason, just want to see what this bloodline that is stronger than his legendary one is. Thinking of this, Broly nodded, I understand. Paragus raised his lips, very good. After Reg's matter came to an end, everyone happily welcomed the party again. People eat and play, and the atmosphere is extremely lively. AIXI was lying on a deck chair with a parasol over her head, and two cool beauties were feeding her. Number 18 and No 21. But just then, a hurried voice suddenly came. Is AIXI here? Is AIXI here? AIXI pushed back her visor glasses and asked in confusion, what's wrong, King Kai? That's right. The person who came was King Kai. North King Kai looked anxious, it's over, AIXI, Gods of Destruction Beerus has awakened. He just killed Super Saiyan 4 Goku in seconds. FK. AIXI sat up suddenly, looking serious. Unexpectedly, Beerus woke up early. This guy is not inferior to that Reg at all. No matter how strong Reg is, he is still not good enough in front of Beerus. King Kai continued, and he's now flying towards the direction of the earth. You have to be careful. Goku didn't listen, so he was killed in seconds. I know you're strong, AIXI, but don't confuse your past enemies with Lord Beerus. They are completely different concepts. AIXI nodded, I understand. King Kai finally breathed a sigh of relief, then it's up to you. Don't make Lord Beerus angry. As King Kai's voice disappeared. Number 18 looked confused, what's wrong? Number 21 also cast his gaze over. Remember what I said about the gods of destruction? Remember. Then what? Number 18 nodded. She was no stranger to gods of destruction. AIXI has mentioned it several times. This is an extremely powerful god. But why are you mentioning him again now? Number 18 paused, and her pretty face was shocked, no way. Number 21 said solemnly, he woke up. AIXI nodded, yes. It's coming towards us. AIXI sat up. Cast your eyes toward the sky and wait quietly. Not long. AIXI narrowed her eyes slightly, here it comes. In the sky, a dazzling colorful light suddenly approached and headed towards the earth. Boom. Next second, a ray of light appeared on the cruise ship and landed steadily on the deck. The light faded, and two more figures appeared. Everyone quickly looked in the direction of the sound. AIXI looked forward, sizing up the sudden figure. Gods of Destruction Beerus and his master Whis. Beerus looked calm as he looked around. It then paused for a few moments on Vegeta, Son Gohan, and Broly, each of which made a sound of amazement. Whis, it seems we are in the right place. His eyes moved again. Look towards AIXI. The moment I saw AIXI. Beerus narrowed his eyes slightly, interesting. After taking a look at AIXI, Beerus completely ignored everyone's gaze, took a step forward, and walked straight towards AIXI. Wait, who are you? Yamcha took a step forward and said dissatisfiedly. Who is this hairless cat? How could you come here and disturb someone else's birthday party without any manners? As a result, everyone was silent and looking at him. P.S. Thank you for your money and votes, there will be 2 more chapters later. Chapter 47. Beerus looked calm and said in a cold tone, Gods of Destruction. Hearing this, Vegeta and his group reacted instantly. Vegeta looked solemn. No wonder AIXI said Gods of Destruction was scary. The moment he saw Beerus, some long-forgotten memories gradually returned to his mind. It turns out that the guy in front of him was the one who cast such a huge shadow on him back then. Gods of Destruction? Piccolo also looked solemn. Is that him AIXI is talking about? It does look a bit extraordinary from this perspective. Paragus looked at the crowd who were facing a great enemy, and asked in confusion, who is it? Have no idea. Broly shook his head. But Broly looked extremely serious, he gave me a strong sense of oppression. This was definitely the scariest person he had ever seen besides AIXI. Although no breath was leaked, it gave him an endless sense of oppression and trembling. Whis smiled and said, Lord Beerus, we are in the right place. You must be careful. I'll leave you alone for now. After saying that, he smiled and greeted everyone. Only then did he walk towards the snack stand with a craving for food. His eyes were full of stars as he noticed the food here as soon as he arrived. This fragrance, this appearance. Well, you are definitely right. Beerus continued walking towards AIXI. But at this time, Yamcha stepped forward and hooked his shoulder, saying with a smile, Gods of Destruction? You look quite impressive. Do you want to join us for the party? Compared to Piccolo and the others, he didn't know the Gods of Destruction. After all, he didn't come to the previous battles. Where did AIXI talk about this person? He also heard about AIXI's deeds. When the Piccolo people saw this scene, their faces changed drastically. Vegeta's face turned ugly, this idiot. Piccolo and others were also worried about Yamcha. I don't see you in the usual fights, but now you are the first to fight when the scariest one comes. Beerus surprisingly didn't get angry, instead he asked calmly, party? Yamcha smiled and said, yes, Bulma's birthday party is so lively, with lots of delicious food and fun things to do. Do you want to join us? Delicious? Beerus' eyes lit up slightly and he nodded, okay. It's definitely not because of greed. Super Saiyan God will be available later. No rush. Beerus paused and said, what if it doesn't taste good? Yamcha patted his chest and boasted, it can't be bad. If it's not, you can blow up the earth. Everyone. Beerus narrowed his eyes slightly. He dared to bet the earth, it seemed that he really had something. Can. Yamcha smiled and said, come on, follow me, I'll take you to eat something delicious. As he said that, he hooked his arm around Beerus' shoulder and walked towards the snack stand. Beerus was not angry either, and his eyes stayed on AIXI for a while. Then he followed Yamcha. AIXI stood there quietly without changing his expression. He's gone. Number 21 said slowly with a serious face. AIXI said calmly, it's okay, let him eat, drink and have fun with Yamcha for a while. After all, if you eat other people's food, you can't destroy the planet anymore. 2. Number 18 and number 21 nodded in agreement. And the other side. After seeing Gods of Destruction Beerus being taken away by Yamcha like this, everyone was also a little dumbfounded. No? Is this okay? Piccolo was silent. The benefits of being stupid. Vegeta's mouth twitched. What a shame. Then he slowly stood up and flew towards AIXI. Seeing this, everyone hurriedly followed. Kellen looked serious. AIXI, what should we do? I didn't expect the gods of destruction you mentioned would actually come. AIXI smiled and said, don't worry, just deal with it normally, and leave the rest to me. Vegeta frowned and looked at AIXI, what's wrong with that guy? I can't feel any of his aura at all, and I don't know how strong he is. How can he put such great pressure on me? Why is that? Krillin also nodded, yes, this is the first time I have seen someone without breath. Normally, everyone has breath, right? Piccolo thought thoughtfully, maybe it's because he is a god. He seemed familiar with this feeling, having experienced it deeply in Supreme Kai. Listening to their analysis, AI nodded. It is indeed because he is a god. The reason why we mortals cannot sense his aura is because he is filled with divine power. The power of God. Vegeta was stunned and wondered aloud. I don't think I've told you before. AIXI said slowly after pondering for a moment. You can simply understand it as a more refined chi, but it is fundamentally different from chi. The power of the gods is more pure and dense in both spirit and energy. And the controller needs extremely fine control and great physical strength to operate it. In this way, they can adjust their body's energy to a zero fluctuation state whether they are fighting or not. This also explains why I can't feel his aura. It's because the life energy fluctuations of divine power are smaller than ordinary aura. Everyone suddenly realized. No wonder I can't feel the breath of these gods. It turns out that their energy fluctuations are almost zero, and they have already controlled it to an extremely sophisticated level. Krillin wondered, is the power of God stronger than Chi? AIXI said, of course. Vegeta nodded, in that case, Suiji Li is also a good energy system. AIXI nodded, indeed. Krillin seems to have discovered the Chi training method. 873 His expression brightened, AIXI, so, does that mean that everyone can cultivate divine power? Can. As soon as the words fell, everyone looked at it together, and their eyes lit up. But the next second I heard a cruel word. But you need a powerful god as your teacher, and you also need to have a certain amount of perseverance and determination. It is not easy to cultivate divine power. AIXI said lightly. If the power of God is really that easy to cultivate, everyone would go and practice it. Klin's face darkened and he sighed, alas, I thought I had found a route that suits me. The first one alone is enough to discourage people from joining. Let alone finding a powerful god as a teacher, even if he was found, seeing his talent and potential, he wouldn't want him, right? Sion is still the most popular. Vegeta narrowed his eyes slightly, AIXI, you must have mastered it. You know it in such detail. Yes. AIXI smiled and said directly that she had divine power without hiding anything. And has already mastered Super Saiyan God and Super Blue. Vegeta gritted his teeth and snorted. Really? He knew that AIXI was not so kind as to ask Son Gohan to tell him the evolution path of Super Saiyan 4. It turns out that I have already taken another stronger path. P.S. Please subscribe. Thank you all for your votes, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Chapter 48. AIXI smiled and looked at Vegeta. He could tell what Vegeta was thinking at a glance. Isn't it because he thought that he had cultivated a stronger divine power and gave him a weak Super Saiyan 4? AIXI said, don't think your Super Saiyan route is bad. Saiyan has many possibilities. Just take your time. Vegeta nodded, indeed. He agreed with this. The future of Saiyan is absolutely immeasurable. He, Vegeta, will follow through. Thinking so. Vegeta laughed and said, in that case, I will take both routes. AIXI smiled and said, okay, okay. Go both ways? Super Saiyan 4 plus divine power? Kind of interesting. Just at this moment, there was a loud noise, and a figure was thrown into the ocean, stirring up thousands of waves. Everyone quickly looked in the direction of the sound. Boom! The figure that was smashed into the deep sea was Majin Buu. I saw it not far ahead. Beerus was surrounded by a deep purple light, flickering mysteriously and eerily. The oppressive feeling of intake swept over me. Beerus' expression was icy, since I can't eat it, then don't even think about eating any of it. AIXI's expression remained unchanged. It seemed that no matter how big the butterfly effect was, the corrective force of the plot would always pull it back on track. Majin Buu still ran into Beerus. This time, there's no Satan involved to educate Majin Buu. It was all thanks to AIXI's strength that they were suppressed. If you dare not obey, you will be killed. Aside. Vegeta and the others' expressions changed and became solemn. Vegeta snorted coldly, I knew those people were unreliable. Piccolo looked serious, let's stop him first. Ahead. There is a terrifying purple energy surrounding Beerus, giving people an endless sense of oppression. Yamcha looked startled, and he hadn't paid attention for a while. So they started fighting? Not daring to think too much, Yamcha quickly stepped forward and asked, what's wrong with you? Why do you hit people when I bring you to the party? Beerus glanced at him calmly, raised his right hand, and gently touched Yamcha's neck. Bang! Instantly, Yamcha's pupils turned white and he fell to the ground. Hateful! Seeing this scene, Piccolo and others rushed forward. After all, Yamcha is also their companion. How could you hold back when you see your companions being beaten? Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Several figures rushed up in the blink of an eye. Piccolo, Krillin, Tien Shinyan, and many more. Facing the powerful crowd, Beerus remained calm. He raised his hand and easily solved them all in 2 or 3 moves. Just a moment. There were a few more figures on the deck. Fell asleep. Uncle Piccolo. Son Gohan's expression froze, and he couldn't hold back when he saw Piccolo being knocked down. Hey! He clenched his fists suddenly, veins bulged on his brows, and he let out a low roar. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. A layer of golden ripples slowly rose at his feet, and the ripples were like rippling water. The next moment, golden flames soared into the sky, completely enveloping him. A ray of light burst out and shot out in all directions. An astonishing aura spread out in all directions. As the dazzling golden light dissipated, Son Gohan has changed his form. That is Super 4. Son Gohan's long black hair was revealed, reaching his waist, and his whole body was wrapped in a layer of red fluff. A red tail is swaying behind. His figure is upright and strong, and his every move gives people an amazing sense of power. Domineering and powerful. This is the only word that can describe him at this moment. Beerus turned his gaze towards Son Gohan, his expression changing slightly. Beerus said with a little interest, what is that, Super Saiyan 4 again? I just saw it on that Saiyan called Son Goku, and I didn't expect to see it again. Beerus continued, you give me a much stronger feeling than him. I hope you can surprise me. Son Gohan snorted coldly, stop talking nonsense, take it. As he spoke, he stomped his right foot hard on the deck. Boom! The deck cracked instantly and turned into countless pieces. His figure shot out and rushed straight towards Beerus, with the majestic golden aura lingering around him. Beerus looked calm, quietly watching Son Gohan rushing towards him. Bang! The next moment, Son Gohan appeared in front of Beerus and punched him hard. This punch carried an extremely domineering and fierce aura, and the domineering feeling of Super Saiyan 4 spread out. But Beerus raised his left hand and easily blocked it. Beerus looked indifferent, the momentum is good, but the power is too weak. Bang! After saying that, he punched out fiercely. There was only a dull crash that sounded like thunder. Vomit! So strong! Son Gohan's pupil shrank, and he barely had time to react before he was hit hard by the opponent. The stomach was almost sunken in from being hit. Beerus retracted his fist, slid backward, then leaned forward slightly and raised his right foot to kick out again. Bang! This kick came with extremely terrifying force and landed mercilessly on Son Gohan's head. Son Gohan's pupils shrank slightly, so fast. Why? Totally overwhelmed. Just a moment. Son Gohan's figure was instantly smashed away and fell steadily into the sea. Boom! Once again, 1,000 waves were stirred up. Beerus said calmly, very strong, but you are not the one I am looking for today. Under normal circumstances, he would probably have played around with Son Gohan. Have fun fighting. After all, it's rare to have an opponent. But now, there were 2 other people present who interested him very much. So let's just eat Son Gohan as an appetizer. There is someone stronger than you. If you are eliminated in seconds, you can only blame yourself for not meeting my requirements. And the other side. Vegeta's expression changed drastically and looked extremely ugly. Just now, when he saw Son Gohan's Super Saiyan 4, he felt unbelievable. But I didn't expect it. Son Gohan is so strong, but was killed by Beerus in 1 second. This really subverted his perception. Vegeta's face turned pale, he gritted his teeth and clenched his fists. Is he still on? At this time, Beerus looked over slowly. Beerus looked indifferent, anyone else wants to go up, and... so crazy. Hateful. Vegeta gritted his teeth, he was unworthy of his title as the Saiyan Prince. His self-esteem does not allow him to be cowardly. On it. P.S. Thank you readers for your votes. Thank you. Chapter 49. Thinking so. Vegeta slowly clenched his fists, veins popping out on his forehead. Ha 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 ha. A series of low roars came from his throat. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. As his aura rose, Vegeta's feet shot up into the sky with a golden flame. The golden flame enveloped him. The next breath. Boom. The golden light dissipated, and Vegeta had transformed from normal state to Super Saiyan 4. His hair was messy and long, reaching his waist, and his pupils had turned golden yellow. The upper body is covered with red fur, with obvious muscle lines and a stronger body. Gives people a feeling of power. Vegeta took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. Without any hesitation, Vegeta clenched his fists. The figure shot out. Boom. There was a loud roar, and the deck cracked 5 points in an instant. Ah! Vegeta was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of Beerus and punched him hard. The fist, which was wrapped in golden flames and had tremendous power, went straight towards Beerus' head. Boom! Facing this extremely powerful punch, Beerus remained calm and dodged the opponent's attack by slightly turning his head. Swoosh! Whoosh! Whoosh! At this time, Vegeta has already launched a new round of attack. Using both his hands and feet, every attack he launched was as powerful as thunder, tyrannical and overbearing. These attacks were extremely swift, forming an impenetrable net. Beerus had a calm expression and eyes without any ripples. Easily avoided. Vegeta's powerful and swift punch did not do any good. Beerus said calmly, "It seems that your punch is fast and powerful, and it forces me into a desperate situation, but it is not true. Not only is your attack not powerful enough, but the speed is also too slow." Beerus shook his head in denial. "You are weaker than the two Saiyans just now." Hearing this, Vegeta's expression suddenly turned extremely ugly. Weaker than the two Saiyans just now? Who else could those two Saiyans be? Of course it's Son Gohan and Son Goku. Am I weaker than them? No, he doesn't admit it. Hateful. It's just a gods of destruction, don't get carried away. Vegeta gritted his teeth and clenched his fists tightly, and an even more powerful force poured out of his body. The golden flame became visibly thicker. Rolling thunder and lightning swirled around him, flickering eerily. There was a crackling sound of thunder. Vegeta stepped back for a distance, then opened his hands wide, then suddenly closed them and aimed at Beerus. He growled softly. Hey, buzz. In an instant, golden light flashed in the center of his hands, and then a golden energy gathered out. Vegeta gritted his teeth and said, "Final flash." As he roared, he fell. Boom. There was a huge roar that resounded through the sky, like thunder piercing my ears. The golden energy in Vegeta's hand rushed towards Beerus with the momentum of destroying the world. The final flash of Super Saiyan 4 is extremely powerful and terrifying. The overwhelming momentum seemed to tear everything in its path to pieces. But facing such a terrifying blow, Beerus' expression remained unchanged, his body remained motionless. Let the opponent's attack hit you, boom. There was a loud explosion, and an extremely huge mushroom cloud rose into the sky, spreading across the entire battlefield. Suddenly, thick smoke and fog filled the air. Vegeta was breathing heavily, his eyes fixed on the area. The smoke slowly dissipated. But there was no one. Vegeta's pupil shrank. Not good. He almost instinctively wanted to turn around. But it was still a step too slow. Bang! All that was heard was a dull slapping sound. Beerus appeared behind him at some point and patted his neck without anyone noticing. The force wasn't great, but it was enough to put Vegeta into a coma. DX. I didn't even make it through a single round. Vegeta gritted his teeth, his face full of unwillingness, but his eyelids were too heavy and he slowly closed them. Call out. The next breath, his figure fell freely towards the cruise ship, and his body returned to normal at the same time. Bang! Vegeta landed safely on the deck. See this scene. Paragus looked extremely serious. Broly, this guy is so scary. Vegeta and Son Gohan didn't even last a single round. Broly nodded, his expression solemn, indeed. There is nothing wrong with this. Whoever goes up will be killed instantly. After dealing with Vegeta, Beerus yawned and looked at Aixi and Broly with some boredom. There are only 2 of you left, do you want to go? Beerus smiled faintly, I advise you to come together, otherwise it will still be useless. Deuterium. The other side. Taisai's pretty face was solemn and she took a breath of cold air. Now they are the only ones left. Bulma, Shishi, Master Roshi, Oolong and others. Taisai's expression was extremely solemn, too scary, no matter who he faces, he can kill them in one move. Bulma gritted her teeth, a hole, ruined my birthday party and hurt everyone. This is simply outrageous. As she said this, she wanted to step forward. But Taisai quickly pulled him back. Taisai's pretty face was serious, Bulma, are you going up there to die now? Bulma said angrily, what should we do then? Taisai said slowly, look, Aixi hasn't come up yet, don't worry. She pointed at Aixi. Everyone nodded. Master Roshi looked solemn, although I have never seen how strong Aixi is, but from what I can see right now, it is possible that they cannot defeat the gods of destruction. Shishi accused, can you please stop cheering for others, you old BD. Master Roshi shook his head, I'm not cheering for others. Oh, forget it. Let's just keep watching and wait for Goku to come. In his mind, he still places his hopes on Son Goku. Shishi's eyes lit up, yeah, and Goku. When everyone heard this, they immediately felt that it was not over yet and there was still hope. And here is Aixi. Aixi smiled and stepped forward, let me fight you. Beerus looked over and a smile appeared on his face. Are you going to get on now? As the gods of destruction, he certainly has a good eye. He could see that among all the people present, only the scion in front of him and the other scion with the animal skin hanging around his waist were stronger. And among these 2 scion, obviously, the one in front of me is stronger. Aixi nodded, if I don't come up, you will wipe us out. Beerus didn't comment. After a moment's silence, Beerus said, I won't bully you. You 2 can come together, and defeat me with the human wave tactic. Aixi smiled and said, are you so confident that you will win? Beerus looked calm, well, gods of destruction are so scary. Aixi no longer needs to say more, let's see the real thing with our hands. Aixi took a step forward. Bang! The next moment, he appeared in front of Beerus and threw a punch. Beerus' pupils shrank slightly, and he quickly raised his right hand to block the opponent's attack. So fast! Beerus had a hint of joy on his face. This is the enemy he is looking for. Now he is no longer obsessed with Super Saiyan God. The best one is the one who can fight. Immediately, he clenched his left fist, raised his hand and swung it out violently. Bang! There was a loud bang like thunder. With the 2 of them at the center, a shock wave spread out in all directions. It rustled like a force 10 gale. Neither of them retreated. They both caught each other's fists steadily. Aixi retracted his fist and stepped back slightly, not bad. Beerus frowned, not bad. Aixi nodded, well, the strength and speed are okay, but it lacks momentum, so I can't hit with the power I should have. Beerus' face darkened instantly. He spoke slowly, his tone cold, are you looking down on me? State the facts. Aixi said lightly. Beerus laughed angrily, what a statement of fact. He said coldly, you are the first one who dares to talk to me like this. Aixi smiled, I'm so honored. Beerus. Veins popped out on Beerus' forehead, and he could no longer hold it in. He shouted angrily, you little BD, do you really think gods of destruction is just for free? The words fell. His figure shot out, and in the blink of an eye he was in front of Aixi and punched her. Aixi was not to be outdone and also fought back. Bang! 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 In an instant, the figures of the 2 flashed back and forth in the sky, colliding frequently. Every collision caused the space to explode and the wind to howl. The shock wave generated by the collision caused a howling wind within a radius of 100 miles. The sea water is also churning and roaring again and again. Below. Paragus frowned, I can't see clearly. He turned his gaze to Broly and said, Broly, can you see who has the upper hand now? Broly didn't answer. He frowned slightly, AIXI is much stronger than last time. Paragus was stunned, what? Broly said in a serious tone, I think AIXI didn't use his full strength the last time he fought me. Hearing this, Paragus was shocked, how is it possible? Broly said, the power he used against gods of destruction now is totally different from the power he used against me on Wampa. He was sure. AIXI must have been hiding her weakness when she fought with him. Thinking of this, Broly felt a little embarrassed. At that time, he thought that his opponent could not beat him and did not dare to continue fighting, so he used Kamehameha to beat him back to normal. It turned out that the other party was unwilling to use all his strength against him. But he was also shocked by Beerus. Beerus is like a bottomless pit, getting stronger and stronger as he fights. Bang! Boom! There was a loud noise in the sky, resounding through the clouds, like thunder piercing the ears. The earth is shaking violently. The sea is surging. Beerus and AIXI were seen slowly distancing themselves from each other after a new round of collision. AIXI retreated 100 meters, while Beerus remained where he was. Obviously, the first round of battle between the two decided the winner. Beerus is even better. P.S. Thank you for your tips and votes, thank you everyone. Chapter 50. Beerus looked at AIXI, it's time to finish the warm-up. You can use your Super Saiyan 4. AIXI shook her head and said, I don't know Super Saiyan 4. Beerus was stunned, then frowned, you can't. AIXI nodded, yes. He won't be Super 4, but he will be Super Sai Shen and Super Blue. Beerus stared at AIXI, your normal combat power is stronger than those Saions. If you can't transform into a Super Saiyan, then you are no match for them. He now guessed that AIXI might not transform into Super Saiyan. The normal combat power is so high, could it be obtained by transformation? AIXI smiled and said, who told you I can't transform into Super Saiyan? I said I can't transform into Super Saiyan 4. Beerus snorted coldly, you mean Super Saiyan 3? That's useless. I've seen Super Saiyan 3 on Son Goku. It's too weak. As he spoke, his tone gradually turned cold, if this is all you can do, then there is no need to fight anymore. I will destroy the planet under your feet. AIXI shook her head and smiled faintly, you are too impatient, I said I can't do Super Saiyan 4, but I didn't say I can't do other forms. Beerus narrowed his eyes slightly, what do you mean? AIXI said calmly, Super Saiyan God, and the Super Saiyan that surpasses Super Saiyan God, Super Blue. The words fell. What? Beerus' eyes lit up. Super Saiyan God. No, there is something beyond Super Saiyan God, Super Blue? What form is this? But Beerus didn't want to dwell on this. What did he hear? He found the person he was looking for this time. I thought it was gone, but it reappeared unexpectedly. Beerus stared at AIXI, come on, let me see. AIXI didn't say anything and slowly closed her eyes. DN. The next moment, his eyes suddenly opened and he clenched his fists. H-A-A-A-ah. Only a low roar came out of his throat. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Blue ripples were spreading around my feet, spreading wildly. Boom. The sky and the ocean were shaking violently. A sacred and extremely majestic sky blue aura suddenly rose into the sky and shot straight into the sky. AIXI's body is covered with a thin layer of white and blue shell. Next second. 2 asterisk. The thin shell suddenly broke into countless pieces and scattered. A figure gradually emerged. At this moment, AIXI's hair and eyebrows turned from black to sky blue, and her pupils were also a deep blue. Layers of sky blue flames ignited all over his body, and the sacred and majestic power of God spread in all directions. See this scene. Beerus' pupils suddenly shrank. There was some disbelief on his face. Such a strong divine power. That's right, this is the breath of God. Beerus narrowed his eyes and looked at AIXI seriously several times. Not old. Can one cultivate the divine power with a human body? Is it possible that there is a master teaching you? Beerus was confused. All kinds of questions lingered in his mind. Completely immersed in the shock brought by AIXI's transformation. AIXI's transformation also shocked everyone present. The Z warriors, including Son Gohan and Vegeta who just woke up, and Bulma and her group watching Son Goku hidden on top of the cruise ship. Supreme Kai Xin on the extremely distant Supreme Kai planet, and so on. They all looked shocked. Whis took a bite of the hot snack and then looked up at the sky. After narrowing his eyes and looking at AIXI, he smiled softly, Lord Beerus will suffer this time. The other side. Vegeta and the others just woke up and saw AIXI turning into Super Blue. Vegeta frowned, is this the Super Saiyan Blue above Super Saiyan God? It's exactly the same as AIXI said, I can't detect any aura at all. Vegeta gritted his teeth, damn it. This is really infuriating. I can see it, but I can't sense its breath. I don't even know how strong. Piccolo looked at Son Gohan on the side, Gohan, didn't AIXI teach you this? Son Gohan shook his head, no, Master only taught me Super Saiyan 4. All right. Piccolo was a little disappointed, as he was hoping to learn some details about Super Blue. And Bulma's side. Old man, speak. Taisai looked at Master Roshi and said. There were stars in her eyes, all filled with AIXI. I have to say, this sky blue hair really suits her preference. Today was not in vain. Back to AIXI and Beerus. Beerus was stunned for a moment and then slowly came back to his senses. He narrowed his eyes and spoke slowly, what's your name? AIXI. VIP. Beerus repeated it, as if to commit the name to memory. Then he continued, I am Beerus. AIXI nodded and said nothing. Beerus stared at AIXI, among all the humans I have fought, the strongest one, you can be ranked first. AIXI smiled and said, you are also the strongest one I have ever fought against. Beerus laughed dumbly, and said in a light tone, because I am the gods of destruction. Gods of destruction, are so scary. The words fell. Beerus' expression gradually turned cold, and an invisible aura of terror surged out of his body, call out. I saw a layer of strange and majestic purple divine power rising slowly from the bottom to the top at his feet. The power of God swirled and surged around him, jumping strangely. The oppressive feeling brought by this breath is extremely terrifying. Just looking at it makes people feel terrified. Boom! Astonishing divine power roared in, and Beerus' aura surged wildly. At the same time, Beerus' figure suddenly shot out and flew towards AIXI. The speed is so fast that it cannot be captured by the naked eye. AIXI narrowed his eyes slightly, and a sky blue aura rose up around him, and he immediately assumed a fighting stance. All four limbs are covered with red, green, and blue light at the same time. Critical hit, attack speed. Bang! The two of them collided with their fists. Boom! With the two of them as the center, an extremely terrifying shock wave exploded, blowing everyone present to the point of being on the verge of collapse. The whole galaxy trembled. Beerus retreated several thousand meters and almost fell into the sea before he stopped. Beerus looked at his fist in disbelief. Sore. Hurt. And the original place. AIXI didn't even move. The difference is obvious. Below. Whis narrowed his eyes and stared at AIXI's fist. Red, green, and blue? What kind of energy is this? He just saw that AIXI's punch seemed to be blessed invisibly, the speed and power were several times stronger. Interesting. Whis smiled. It seems that Lord Beerus has really suffered a lot. Beerus gritted his teeth and shot out towards AIXI again. This time, his speed was obviously faster, and the purple aura around him was even more majestic. AIXI looked at Beerus who was rushing towards her. The corner of his mouth slightly raised, and then his right hand raised. 1 inch. In an instant, a colorful energy suddenly took shape, and a terrifying aura spread. Soul Judge. Beerus' pupils suddenly shrank as he was flying towards him. What's this? He was trembling all over. Not daring to think too much, Beerus quickly crossed his arms to block. AIXI threw it out suddenly, not giving Beerus any time to react. Boom! The Soul Punisher hit Beerus, and a deafening explosion sounded instantly. Thick smoke billows. Hateful! An angry roar came from the smoke, and Beerus was bruised by the explosion. Beerus shouted, Destruction! Boom! The next breath. A deep purple destructive energy appeared in the thick fog, destroying the smoke completely and rushing towards AIXI with the momentum of destroying everything. AIXI's eyes narrowed. The power of destruction. You can take it, but you don't have to. It takes time and effort, swish. Immediately. AIXI did not hesitate, instant transmission. AIXI appeared behind Beerus on the left and punched Beerus in the face. Bang! Only a dull crash was heard. Beerus' pupil shrank, and he instantly flew backwards and crashed into the ocean. Boom! Beerus' body was like a natural axe, cutting the sea in half. Under his impact, the sea water rushed back and rushed up hundreds of meters high. AIXI Chen Shang chased after him, bursting out with sky blue divine power, and rushed forward fiercely. Straight into the ocean. Call out! Beerus appeared in the middle of the sea, his left face slightly swollen and covered in blood. Beerus touched his face, and then his expression visibly darkened. And at this time, AIXI's figure gradually approached him. Beerus' eyes were cold. Very good, you are the first one to hurt me. The words fell. Boom! A terrifying divine power gushed out. Beerus almost used 80% of his normal strength. AIXI's face changed slightly and she stopped immediately. Beerus was surrounded by a thick purple aura, like a ball, enveloping him in the center. Ha 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 ha! Beerus shouted angrily and opened his hand, and countless purple energy poured out. Boom! AIXI's eyes focused, and he raised his hands and slapped them back and forth, deflecting all the incoming attacks. See this scene? Beerus looked fierce, and clasped his hands together. Take this move from me! Boom! A red and orange circular energy condensed from his hand. As his hands expanded rapidly outward, the flames became blazing, and the high temperature produced rolling heat waves. Scorching bomb! In the blink of an eye. The volume has reached the size of the moon. PS, thank you for the tips and votes. 4. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.